protest also, we've seen people from various age groups participating. But you haven't even, I think you haven't really come across any student of that said student outfit in these protests, sort of.
Well, we have visuals. We are seeing people being taken away, and we'll ask them if they are students or not. আপনি কি কোনো ছাত্র?
আমরা কোনো ছাত্র, আমরা সাধারণ জনগণ আমাদের দিদির বিচারের জন্য
আপনি কি ছাত্র?
করছি, এটাই আমাদের দোষ।
So of course, they are saying on camera that they are not students, but obviously, they are protesters who are here, and can see the police leading them away. What the police are also doing at this point is identifying miscreants who are, creating trouble, and then taking them away. You can see, top senior police officers who are leading these riot control, groups that have, picked up these people, and you can see the riot control police with their tear gas ammunition all now coming back after having dispersed the crowd. Now, this is a peaceful group here, so obviously the police not acting against them. This side, there's a little bit of a scuffle between the police and the protesters, but this is an ongoing situation, evolving situation as we speak here at these protests in Satragachi.
All right, Saurabh, I'll come back to you in just a bit. Latest visuals now coming in from Howrah, where these protests are taking place. Well, the protesters have managed to break some barricades as well as tried to march towards the secretariat, but their attempt was foiled by the Bengal cops. These are latest visuals. These protesters were seen clashing with the Bengal police who tried to push them back. The Bengal police had to use lathi charge. They had to use force in order to push back the protesters. We've seen visuals coming in of water cannons as well as tear gas shells being used on the protesters. Now, we do understand some of these protesters have been detained by the police. Some of them have been identified and taken away by the police in their vans. All right, BJP leader Howrah Bhatia is speaking at the moment. Listen in.
धन दे के टीएमसी का उनको सदस्य माना जाता है। पुलिस जो है वो मूक दर्शक बनी रहती है, चुप्पी साध देती है। और जहां हमारे डॉक्टर, युवा साथी, सारे छात्र प्रदर्शन कर रहे थे, उस पूरे मंच को ध्वस्त कर दिया गया, हाथापाई की गई। और अब हम जो देख रहे हैं वही कार्य नबन्ना अभियान जो है, वहां क्या हो रहा है? वहां फिर से पुलिस मुस्तैदी से खड़ी है। वाटर कैनन, डंडे चलाना, बल्कि बड़े बड़े कंटेनर लाए गए हैं। कंटेनर और डंडे, वाटर कैनन, जैसे ये आरोपी हैं, इन्होंने दुष्कर्म किया है। ये है तानाशाह ममता बनर्जी की आंखें, जिन आंखों में एक जघन्य अपराधी के लिए प्यार है, लेकिन जो छात्र हैं, जो डॉक्टर हैं, उनके लिए सख्त कार्रवाई करने के लिए पुलिस को खड़ा करा देती हैं। ये चिंताजनक है। और मैं इस प्रथम बिंदु में आज एक बात स्पष्ट कर दूं, तानाशाह ममता बनर्जी और साथ में वो पुलिस कमिश्नर जिन्होंने इसको आत्महत्या बताया था और उसके बाद सर्वोच्च न्यायालय और कलकत्ता उच्च न्यायालय से फटकार लगी, आज ये मांग करी जाएगी कि अगर मुख्यमंत्री का ये चरित्र है तो चाहे वो पुलिस कमिश्नर हो, चाहे वो ममता बनर्जी हो, पहले तो इन्हें तुरंत इस्तीफा देना चाहिए, जिससे कि एक निष्पक्ष जांच हो सके। दूसरी बात, सत्य को बाहर आना चाहिए, इसलिए जांच एजेंसी सीबीआई जांच कर रही है, वो पॉलीग्राफ टेस्ट करे ममता बनर्जी का और पुलिस कमिश्नर का, क्योंकि सत्य को दबाया नहीं जा सकता है। और सबसे बड़ी बात यह है कि जब तक ये लोग अपने पदों पे बने हैं और छात्रों को कुचलने का काम कर रहे हैं, ये संविधान को तार तार कर रहे हैं। इसको सहा नहीं जाएगा। पुरजोर तरीके से ये बात उठाई जाएगी जैसे आज इस मंच से उठाई गई है, और आगे भी जब तक कि जो मृतक पीड़िता है हमारी बहन, उसके परिवार को इंसाफ नहीं मिलता और हर महिला पश्चिम बंगाल की सुरक्षित नहीं होती, तब तक हम लोग इस मंच से और प्रदेश के मंच से छात्रों के साथ, डॉक्टरों के साथ कंधे से कंधा मिलाकर खड़े रहेंगे। ये तो पहला बिंदु है। दूसरा, ये भी बड़ा अहम बिंदु है। आज ये कहना गलत नहीं होगा, कांग्रेस इज सिनोनिमस टू करप्शन। कांग्रेस इज सिनोनिमस टू करप्शन क्योंकि कर्नाटका में हमने देखा किस तरह से पहले मुख्यमंत्री सिद्धारमैया, उनकी नाक के नीचे मूडा स्कैम होता है।
All right, that was BJP leader Gaurav Bhatia speaking on the Kolkata rape and horror case and the protest march that has been called today. These are huge protests taking place at this point in time. Live visuals coming in from Howrah. We'll get you more on that in just a bit. It's time for a short break here. We'll be right back.
Initiative. Donate for Kerala.
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get access to the best journalism and storytelling on your smartphone or tablet. The NDTV app. News that matters to you.
Hi, I'm Shreya Saran. Kerala's Wayanad area is hit by devastating landslides, resulting in loss of lives and livelihood. Kerala needs your help right now. Let's join NDTV initiative. Come, donate. Let's rebuild Wayanad.
Landslide devastation in Kerala's Wayanad. Join NDTV's initiative. Donate for Kerala.
Stay informed and entertained with the new and
Hi, I'm Shreya Saran. Kerala's Wayanad.
Chorus for justice grows in Kolkata rape and murder case. Protesters marched to the Secretariat. 6,000 cops deployed to stop the march. Cops put up barricades, used water cannon and tear gas. Jodhpur hospital horror now comes to light, where a minor was gang raped at the hospital on August 26. Rajasthan police suspects contractual staff behind the crime. Supreme Court grants conditional bail to K. Kavitha after Manish Sisodia relief for K. Kavitha in excise policy case. After Muda now, another land scam rocks Karnataka. Land scam allegations on the Kharge family trust. BJP says Kharge's family trust usurped industrial land. Priyank Kharge, nothing illegal in allotment. Another complaint filed in the Mollywood Me Too. In fact, moments SIT to investigate actor Meenu Muni's complaint. Canada, Australia tighten immigration rules. Canada to cut temporary work permits. Australia to limit foreign students at universities. Right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to NDTV. I'm Ankit Tyagi, starting with our top focus on Kolkata, where there is massive protest which has been organized by a student body which has called for march to Nabanna, demanding the resignation of Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee. The Kolkata police has put up massive security arrangements as far as this protest is concerned. Now, remember, anticipating violence during this protest in the city, the Bengal police has claimed that there is conspiracy to create chaos in the name of the protest, and hence no permission was given for this march. Security has been beefed up outside the Bengal Secretariat. Kolkata police has deployed over 6,000 personnel on the city streets from 8 a.m. Water cannons and barricades have been also put up at few points. The state police has put 26 district collectors in charge to monitor the situation. Police is also using drones to keep an eye on the rally. However, the police has said no permission was sought to conduct this rally. The BJP, meanwhile, says the Bengal government is scared of outrage of the public and hence denying the permission for the protest. BJP leader and leader of opposition in West Bengal Assembly, Shubhendu Adhikari, has accused Mamata Banerjee government of detaining 4 students who were set to participate in the Nabanna Abhiyan rally today. He held that if anything happened to them, Mamata police would be accountable. He also mentioned names of the students: Shubhajit Ghosh, in fact, Pulokesh Pandit, Gautam Senapati and Preetham Sarkar, saying that they were arriving at Howrah station when they were in fact got disappeared. This is something that they have put out on the social media.
अरे पूरा प्रदेश में 50-60 हजार पुलिस ये लोग आज फील्ड में उतरा. यहाँ 6,000 पुलिस कलकत्ता पुलिस का, वहाँ 7 से 8 हजार पुलिस. वाटर कैनन they are using. Peaceful demonstration. No flag, no bamboo, nothing else. They are using tear gas in Sadragachi. What is going on?
My colleague Saurabh Gupta now joins us with more details at this moment on this story. Saurabh, now since yesterday, this has been a point of contention between the BJP and the TMC, while the TMC says that this group, unknown student group, has not sought any permission. The BJP seems to be fully backing this protest.
Absolutely.
All right, I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. I think there is some problem there with the connection, as you can expect. In fact, in a protest like this, there have been several, at points where the police tries and uses, machines which can, in fact, interfere in the kind of broadcast equipment that we have. But we'll try and go back to Saurabh in this massive protest which is going on at this moment in West Bengal, in Kolkata, where the Secretariat is in fact at the target of the protesters. They want to in fact come and get out the protesters. Let me go back to my colleague Saurabh, who is with us. Saurabh, just give our viewers a sense of what is happening at this moment.
So, at this point, there's a face-off between the police and the protesters, and what we are seeing is some kind of a scuffle and face-off between the police and the protesters. But what we also see is a large number of these protesters are middle-aged men and women, and who are not, at least physically, from appearance, don't look like students. Now, obviously, that's something that we're noticing, we're witnessing on the ground, but these protests are taking place as we speak, and I can, if there are visuals at this point where, again, there seems to be preparation for some sort of a scuffle between the riot control police and the protesters, who are now trying to push back on the other side. So, visuals that we're seeing here at this point, as we speak, as these as these protests take place here at this point.
All right, problems there as far as that connection with Saurabh is concerned. But at this moment, as Saurabh was telling us, these are live visuals coming in from Howrah, where the police and the protesters are facing off. Remember, there was no permission for this protest, which was given by the administration, in fact, fearing that there could be violence. The administration says that this is the BJP's doing, and the Bharatiya Janata Party is behind this protest, while the BJP denies any direct allegiance as far as this protest is concerned, saying this is a student protest. Now, this is, at this moment, in fact, a lot of, clashes and face-to-face between these student bodies, those who are at this moment protesting against the Mamata Banerjee government, demanding justice in the RG Kar hospital rape and murder case. Now, remember, these visuals that you are seeing at this moment are of the police trying to disperse the crowd. Water cannons are being used to try and disperse the crowd. Massive arrangements, bandobast, has been put in place by the police. The Kolkata police, ladies and gentlemen, since yesterday has been saying that there is no permission as far as this protest is concerned. Meanwhile, protesters, in fact, today on their way to the secretariat, and they are, in fact, being met by massive police resistance as well. What you're seeing on your screens are water cannons being used in Howrah district of, in fact, West Bengal, and where the protesters on their way to the secretariat in Kolkata are being stopped. Massive police presence, 6,000 cops deployed in Kolkata, 19 points where barricades have been put up to stop the protesters' march towards the secretariat in Kolkata. A student body, in fact, students of various affiliations have, in fact, called for this protest, while the Kolkata police says this organization is not even registered, and they fear there have been some videos allegedly going viral which call for violence as far as this protest is concerned, and that is the reason why the Kolkata police denied permission to this rally. Meanwhile, the opposition, the BJP specifically, has called this a dictatorial attitude of the Mamata Banerjee government, and they have said that she seems to be scared of the protests of the citizens and the students. The BJP says that they have nothing to do with this protest. Meanwhile, the TMC is alleging that this is part of a larger conspiracy to defame the Mamata Banerjee government, and despite, in fact, now the CBI taking over the case, there are questions on the way initially this entire RG Kar Hospital and Medical College case was handled by the state government and the police. Remember, the Kolkata police within 24 hours had arrested the main accused. The CBI so far, I beg your pardon, the murder and the rape case have only persisted with the accused, and they haven't made any other arrest, though there are investigations against the former principal and others as far as the financial corruption is concerned, the allegations of financial misdoings is concerned, but so far the case is concerned of the murder and rape of a 31-year-old junior doctor. The CBI is also persisting with the accused that was arrested by the Kolkata police, but the way the entire case was handled initially, that in fact puts a big question mark on the Mamata Banerjee administration. Let me go across to my colleague Danushka, who's joining us with more details at this moment. Danushka, massive face-off there at various points in Kolkata.
Right, exactly, Ankit. It's a complete showdown between the police and the protesters, and these protesters are, they claim that they're student body groups, but they are from unidentified student bodies, and they've marching towards Nabanna, which is the West Bengal secretariat, the state secretariat, and the state secretariat has been turned into a fortress over this protest march. And around 6,000 police personnel have been set. Barricades were, set at different locations in Kolkata as well as Howrah, which is where this protest march started off from, to prevent these protesters from reaching Nabanna. However, the protesters did get past and topple down a lot of these barricades that were put in place just for these protests. And the protesters definitely turned unruly, and there were violent scenes at this protest. and where they broke the barricades and pelted stones at the cops. The cops had to fire tear gas onto these protesters and even mild lathi charge to keep in control the situation that is going down. The visuals that you're seeing are of a very unruly crowd who gathering out there, wherein the police has also fired tear gas onto the protesters to get them under certain control. The protesters also dragged these barricades from Howrah.
With me. Let's go across to Saurabh Gupta, our colleague who's joining us live at this moment. Saurabh, over to you.
Well, at this point, though, here, of course, there is a face-off between the police and the protesters, and this is what we're seeing here at this point as, the police try and chase away the protesters. Now, riot control police here and top police officials here, at of Howrah, here at this point. Here as the police now push, the protesters away. So this is, stones also being hurled now again. Stone pelting happening. I can see stones being pelted, and the police, of course, definitely some stones coming from the other side as well, because there also I can see, camera person to show you, there's a scuffle going on the other side, between two groups, and here, of course, someone has fallen also here. That is, of course, tear gas being fired here by the police officials, as you can see here, and the tear gas stone pelting happens here. You can see this side also, the police pushing them away with tear gas fire, and someone has, of course, there visuals of the scuffle as the police are leading people away, and people trying to run away as there is a scuffle. I think I've seen a police officer also receive some injuries, but we'll just try and give you a visual of that if we can, as we see this police officer who's also received injuries here as we and there's smoke on the other side, and you can see here received injuries as
অন্যথায় পুলিশ আপনাদের বিরুদ্ধে আইনত ব্যবস্থা গ্রহণ করতে বাধ্য হবে।
On that side, of course, there was stone pelting and scuffle between the police and the protesters as things turned a bit violent at this point here.
জানানো হচ্ছে যে আপনাদের এই জমায়েত উপযুক্ত কর্তৃপক্ষের অনুমোদন সাপেক্ষ নয়।
Massive scenes of scuffle and clashes which are being reported there in Kolkata at this moment as the protesters try and make their way, no permission for this protest, try and make their way to the secretariat, and the police, in fact, at this moment trying to send them back, trying to stop them from reaching the secretariat. Ladies and gentlemen, these are live visuals which are coming in at this moment from Kolkata. Crackdown by the police on the protesters who were denied permission to march to the secretariat. Saurabh is back with us. Saurabh, go ahead.
Yes, the protests and the scuffle and the face-off between the police and the protesters still continuing. And again, people who are being brought in, like I said, seem to be middle-aged or elderly.
পুলিশ ঢুকেছে।
আপনি কি কোনো ছাত্র সমাজের মেম্বার?
না, আমরা সাধারণ পাবলিক।
So again, they, obviously they admit that they're not students, but they've joined these protests, and this is something that also has been alleged by the ruling party here. Those are
আপনারা যারা এখানে জমায়েত হয়েছে তাদের উদ্দেশ্যে জানানো হচ্ছে যে আপনাদের এই জমায়েত উপযুক্ত কর্তৃপক্ষের অনুমোদনের সাথে আপনাদের এই জমায়েত শান্তিপূর্ণ।
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are, in fact, we apologize for this, inconvenience at this moment where we are losing that connection with our colleague, which at this moment, as you can understand in the chaos, it's difficult, in fact, to have a seamless communication. But what you are witnessing at this moment is another point of clashes between the Kolkata police and the protesters, in fact, those who had said that they would want to march towards the secretariat. It is in connection with this, the anger regarding the Arjikar Medical College and Hospital rape and murder case. Many of these protesters also being detained by the police. Let's go back to Saurabh.
Well, again, the police, I am showing you visuals of the police lifting the protesters and taking them away. So again, a lot of people here are saying that this gentleman was telling us that we were protesting peacefully here, and initially the police did not move them from here. But now, of course, the police have dispersed the protesters with tear gas shells being fired.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are bringing you the latest from Kolkata, where, as you can see at this moment, clashes between the police and the protesters. The police has put up 19 security points where, on their way to the secretariat, where the protesters, those who are allegedly from various student groups, the police says that they don't know which student group are they affiliated from. There is no organization which is registered in the name of this protest, but the fact remains at this moment there is massive anger against the Mamata Banerjee government, and what we are seeing is some sort of manifestation as far as these protests are concerned. A lot of chaos there at various points where the police is now using water cannons and trying to in fact chase away the protesters. It's been this entire march, in fact, which you are seeing is towards the secretariat, demanding justice at the Arjikar Medical College and Hospital case where a 31 was raped and murdered. The main accused is in the custody, investigating this matter, and that the anger is because of this case by the state government. Various places in Kolkata, where a lot of anger and the clashes with the security forces. The police now trying to in fact contain this situation. Remember, there has been no permission which has been given for this protest as we speak, and what we know so far is that the police has denied them permission. Let me go back to my colleague Saurabh Gupta, who is joining us at this moment.
Well, obviously the protests now seem to have cleared for a bit, with the police using tear gas and also detaining a lot of the protesters. The police having to use force and stretchers being brought in for someone we believe who may have been they're saying that a stretcher has been brought in for someone who's been injured, so is being brought in to evacuate someone who suffered injuries. We'll try and keep an eye on who that person is when that person is brought out. But at this point, we also saw a senior and also the protesters have been dispersed at this point here. And you can see, of course, the riot control police also after dispersing which is where we've been reporting from. In other places like Howrah as well, Strand Road, water cannons, etc. have been used. And, this had happened last time as well, obviously during this last time's Nabanna Abhiyan. But at this point, you can see protests that seem to have calmed down a bit. And of course, we'll try and move to the next location as well, where the protests still seem to be continuing. Here, of course, things seem to have calmed down a bit, though I'll ask my camera person to show you visuals of somebody being evacuated at this point. But obviously, this is someone who perhaps fainted under the, impact of tear gas, because sometimes, the tear gas, if it gets into your eyes and face, it's difficult also to breathe, and sometimes people do experience blackouts because of that. So obviously, this is something that we are seeing somebody has been evacuated in a stretcher. The riot control police still on standby here as the police clear the area of protesters here in Shatragachi as we speak, and of course senior police officers still on the spot. And of course there was some amount of stone pelting again, and there is as we see the protesters here removing someone who had to be evacuated on that stretcher here as we speak. So these are visuals from Shatragachi where these protests have been taking place. The Nabanna Abhiyan has been taking place. But one of the things that we've noticed is a large number of these protesters are people who are actually, not students but have joined these protests otherwise.
Stay on with me, Saurabh. Let me also bring in Dr. Shattrupa, who is the spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party. Thank you, Dr. Shattrupa, for joining us. The police, in fact, saying their permission has been given as far as this protest is concerned, and that's the reason why they are now trying to push back as far as these protests go. In fact, we are seeing the clashes on the streets of Kolkata where the protesters are trying to break barricades while the police is trying to maintain the law and order situation, ma'am.
Ankit, good afternoon. Two things I want to say here. One is this was supposed to be an absolute peaceful protest. In fact, yesterday when the people who had organized this, they said on press, they called a press conference, and they said this is absolutely non-political thing, and everybody should be coming with the tricolor, and they have specifically requested no political party leaders should be there unless they are coming with the Indian flag or without any political color or flag. That was one. Now, so obviously, since they're calling a press conference and declaring this, their intention was very clear that there should be a popular uprising against Nabanna, against Mamata Banerjee, considering this horrific thing that has happened in Arjikor. But the police, on the other hand, for the third time in a row, they have tried to denounce this, like they had tried to defame the Kolkata Derby, if you remember, by calling up everyone and saying, don't come, there'll be violence, there'll be this and there'll be that. But then the Derby didn't happen, more people were on the road. So similarly, today, in fact, for a personal work, for a family occasion, I was in Howrah entirely through that region. The entire road, it looks like a fortress. Now, of course, I know from post 1 o'clock, there has been extreme clashes on the road. I think it is entirely unnecessary the way police have anticipated a retaliation and gone ahead with the retaliation, despite the fact that these people were just students and they were doing a very popular, very natural, very spontaneous upsurge as they had announced. And they were very specific that they had given instructions to whoever joins wherever they join the procession.
Okay. Can I request you to stay on with me because the
very specific.
Sure.
That do not get into a clash with the police. Sit down wherever the police stops you. Sit down.
Okay.
Despite that, the police must have instigated something.
Okay, Mr. Riju Datta, I beg your pardon, Mr. Riju Datta, TMC spokesperson, is with us as well. Mr. Datta, the fact is that this is not a politically backed protest, is what the BJP says. They are just trying to, in fact, support people, those who want to use their fundamental right to protest. Meanwhile, the police, in fact, is being high-handed, is the allegation at this moment, sir.
First of all, I hope the police is high-handed. The police is still not high-handed. If this would have been the CPM rule, I don't know what would have happened. Anyways, this was supposed to be a student.
What analogy is that, Mr. Rijudatta?
Can I finish my point?
No, sir. If you make a point, then you will have to listen to a counterpoint. And what are you saying that if this would have been, are you the left government? Would you like to see the police, in fact, being high-handed? I mean, it's not a police state, is it?
If hooligans and goons, under the garb of a peaceful protest, try to create an anarchy-like situation, try to make West Bengal into Bangladesh, the police will take all necessary steps needed. Police has to be strong. Police will take every step possible to maintain law and order in the state. Law and order is a state subject, and that is what the Supreme Court and the Indian Constitution says.
Indian Constitution also said people can protest peacefully. What proof do you have? What proof do you have, Mr. Datta, that these are hooligans?
Stop being a Adani channel. When you have called somebody, hear him out.
Riju Datta, stop being sitting in your high horse and telling us what to ask. Questions will be asked. Your police is behaving. Your police is behaving in a certain fashion. Let me ask you, sir. Let me ask you, Mr. Datta. What proof does the police have these are hooligans and not common citizens? Please tell me that.
Do you know? Are you sitting in a police studio? Are you
the police commissioner? What proof do you have?
Where are you sitting?
I'm sitting in a studio asking you the question that every journalist should ask you.
I see Chundi Tola, an inspector of police Chundi Tola, stone was pelted on police. This is a peaceful protest and his head is cracked wide open. Is NDTV defending that? Is NDTV calling this a peaceful protest?
NDTV is only defending the right of the people to protest, Mr. Datta.
Do not patronize. Go and give this lecture to Amit Shah and Narendra Modi. Do not patronize.
That's your problem, Mr. Judatta. You know, that is exactly your problem, and that is why you are no different from any other political party or any other government. Every time people stand up in protest, this is the label that you will put. And if questions are asked to you, you become uncomfortable.
We are not uncomfortable. NDTV can continue doing their brokering for BJP. We cannot care less. But if stones are pelted and police inspectors' heads are cracked open, police will take the necessary action.
It's an absolute sign of a party which is in a corner to start putting names and labels on people. Mr. Datta, better is expected of you. But I'm sure at this moment, when you have your back to the walls with the way the government handled this situation, the only retort that you will have, Mr. Datta, is to come back and put labels. I can understand your frustration. It's all right.
I can understand your issues also.
Mr. Datta, I was hoping that you would have a mature conversation. I'm sure when your government is under fire, not only from the people who are angry at this moment of your handling, I'm sure that you are quite frustrated, and the only way that you can find is to, in fact, to come back and use these kind of labels on people, those who are asking you genuine questions. Thank you so much, Mr. Datta, for joining me. Thank you also, Dr. Shatrupa, for speaking to us. We are slipping into a quick break at this moment.
Join NDTV's initiative. Donate for Kerala.
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get access to the best journalism and storytelling on your smartphone or tablet. The NDTV app. News that matters to you.
Hi, I'm Shreya Saran. Kerala's Wayanad area is hit by devastating landslides, resulting in loss of lives and livelihood. Kerala needs your help right now. Let's join NDTV initiative. Come, donate, let's rebuild Wayanad.
Some people say the metaverse will only be, but even in this
Now, in And some shocking news from Rajasthan's Jodhpur, where a minor has been allegedly gang raped at a hospital. Police suspect that contractual staff is involved in this gang rape. My colleague Harsha is joining me for more details. Harsha, what is the case exactly? What more details can you disclose at the moment?
Well, you know, the FSL team is at the Mahatma Gandhi Hospital in Jodhpur, and we are given to understand that there was this minor girl who had for some reason left her home, and she was apparently roaming around near the hospital on the night of 25th August, where she was, kind of persuaded to come into the area of the hospital, not where the patients are or not in the wards, but in an area where there is some equipment lying. And apparently, we are not exactly sure again if it was contractual employees or somebody else, but this rape happened with her. The girl went back home to her parents and informed them, and then the parents came and registered a complaint. So the scene of the crime has been visited by the FSL team. They've taken crucial evidence from there, and they're proceeding further in the case. We've been told that 2 people have been detained and are being closely questioned, but no arrests have been made so far in this entire case.
What were the security arrangements, Harsha? If we can ask, there is an outgrowing cry that there is no security staff at the hospitals. There is a need to ramp up the security arrangements at the hospital. Do you think that question will now come to Rajasthan, that hospitals in Rajasthan also need to be revamped as per the security scenario is concerned?
Well, I think absolutely, the fact that, people can use hospital premises like this, especially in the evenings for these kind of activities, is is a cause of concern. It puts the, lives of patients under threat also, the security of patients. Also, there's a stream of, visitors which are always going in and out of hospitals. There is no check on them. And even if they're not allowed inside the hospital, inside the building, they're constantly floating around outside in the premises. So, that is also gives a window to anti-social elements to enter. Also, ironically, that was the day when the Chief Minister was also in Jodhpur. So anyway, there was a high security alert in the city. And the fact that something like this happened is indeed a shame. And in fact, Jodhpur has had a bad track record as far as crimes against women are concerned. There have been a number of so-called, I beg your pardon, there have been a number of alleged rape cases that have happened in Jodhpur in the recent past.
Right. And Harsha, how many security checks will be conducted? The CCTVs will be probed in this case?
Well, unfortunately, this incident where it happened, it's towards the back of the hospital where some equipment is being stored. So there are no CCTVs there. The FSL team is definitely at the spot, and a lot depends on the victim's statement. Her statement under 164 will be crucial, her statement before a magistrate. And the scene of crime and whatever evidence is gathered from the scene of crime will be crucial in this case.
Right, Harsha, thank you so much for joining us. So the details right now coming in are that in a Jodhpur hospital, a minor was allegedly gang raped. The cops suspect that a contractual staff might be involved in the case, and hence the police have reached the spot. The FSL team is present, and the cops will be probing the case and taking the statements of all those who are involved in the case.
At this moment, ladies and gentlemen, our focus remains on these 2 big stories that we are tracking, one from Kolkata, one from Jodhpur in Rajasthan, where a similar, horrific, in fact, incident. We are shifting our focus back to Kolkata, where the action at this moment, in fact, on the streets of the city, which now resemble some sort of a battleground, where the police and the protesters are continuously, on face-to-face, there are clashes being reported, water cannon being used there by the police. My colleague Saurabh now joins us with more details on this from the street. Saurabh, the fact is, Saurabh, when you ask questions about these citizens, the Kolkata police might, in fact, keep saying that they fear that situation could go out of hands. But the fact is, at this moment, it resembles and looks like a serious situation, law and order situation, which is in fact being played out on the streets of Kolkata.
Yes, this is definitely a serious law and order situation and anticipated so by the Kolkata police. In fact, let me just give you a sequence of events since this morning at where I was, which is Shantragachi, and where I still am. Now in the distance you can see those barricades that have been set up. Those barricades have been welded together and set into the ground with a cement mix. But one of those barricades was first broken by the protesters. Then of course, some of the protesters threw stones. And after that, of course, the police, resorted to lathi charge. And then, of course, the police also fired tear gas cells. And since then, there has been a scuffle with the police pushing them back, the protesters regrouping and coming back, the police again pushing them back, and the protesters regrouping and coming back. Now, is this a students' protest? Well, there was one organization that said that this is a students' protest and that they would, of course, obviously try and keep it peaceful, but the police said that these organizations did not have any registration, and they obviously this could turn violent anytime is what the police said. Now of course accordingly it seems that there has been some sort of violence, and of course you can see while the police are here on the main carriageway of the Kona Expressway, as this road is known, there are protesters who are at the railway subway, who've taken shelter at the railway subway, and they are of course shouting slogans from there. But if you look at the age group of those protesters, many of them may not be students, is what we are being, at least from appearance. Now that might very well be wrong, but from appearance they may not look like students. But let me give you an idea of what's happening on the other side. There of course the riot control police of course have managed to disperse a large group of protesters. Policemen have also suffered injuries. Some protesters have also suffered injuries. So there have been injuries because of that stone pelting or whatever took place, tear gas. But we do know for sure that policemen have also suffered injuries, and protesters have also suffered injuries. Now these are senior police officials. I can see Praveen Tripathi in this frame, a senior IPS officer who's here. And of course they are of course on the ground to push these protesters back. But there was a stone pelting. And there was, of course, an attempt to break the barricades, following which the police also resorted to use of force. Now, one of the things that we were told yesterday by sources is that no matter what the provocation, the police have clearly been instructed, do not open fire and, control the crowd with mechanisms like tear gas, water cannons and barricades. And that's what the police have been doing. In fact, you can see senior police officials on the ground. The barricade still remains. The water cannon still remains. Water cannons will be used only if they try and now break the barricades and go that side. For now, the protests continuing. The police have used tear gas and lathi charge to disperse many of these protesters at this point. And also in Howrah, at the Howrah Bridge, the iconic Howrah Bridge, water cannons have also been used to disperse protesters, and we have those visuals. I'm sure we can pull them up on our screen as well from Howrah, where water cannons have been used to disperse protesters. So while the police said they anticipated an attempt to create...
Let me ask you this as well. It's not exclusive to the state government of West Bengal. Every time there is anger regarding some issue and people come out, these are the same arguments being used every time, by the administration and the police, that this is people trying to spread anarchy and they suspect violence and so on and so forth. The fact also remains, whether all of them are students or not, they have yesterday announced that they do not want any political parties to come, and interfere in their protest. There is no denying the fact that there is anger as far as Mamata Banerjee government is concerned. Now, this is also being seen as people, in fact, those who are trying to protest, being, stopped by the Mamata Banerjee government.
Well, let me put it in context. There are the protests, of course, here have been going on, and for some time it was going on here as well, till the time it was peaceful and sloganeering. In fact, I'll show you on the other side, there are protests still going on. And those have been allowed because they remain peaceful. But certain areas like Nabanna or other installations that are high security installations in any city, protesters are not allowed to go there, and protests are not allowed at those places. Now here, of course, they wanted to march to Nabanna, and the police said that will not be allowed. The police, ADG Law and Order, also in fact came on camera and said, but if you give us a plan to organize this protest in some other way, we will help you and or help you and provide you the necessary support that you need to organize these protests. However, the police also played out videos and shared videos, and the TMC also shared a couple of those videos where there were people heard on camera saying that bodies need to fall, dead bodies need to fall. And that is something that, of course, the Trinamool latched onto as well, saying that there was an attempt to create anarchy and chaos. That's where that anarchy and chaos statement came from that clip that was shared widely yesterday by the Trinamool Congress and the police who said that they had received such intelligence that there would be an attempt to provoke violence. So that's, as far as the anarchy and chaos statement, that's where it came from. As far as we are concerned, we've only reported what's been said. And that's obviously on record by the ADG Law and Order and also the Trinamool Congress in a press conference yesterday. Now, who are these protesters? It's very difficult to identify them individually, whether they have any political inclination or not. But one of the protesters, who of course was part of the organizers, was on a regional channel yesterday, and he was asked that whether he was affiliated to any any political party or not. And he said in the past he was a member of the ABVP, but now he isn't. Now, of course, the Trinamool alleges that these protests are largely being organized by the BJP and, the ABVP. That's Trinamool's allegation. The BJP has denied those allegations, said that the law and order is the state government's responsibility, and if they have intelligence, pick up these people and stop these incidents of violence. That's the job of the police. But in between, there's been a lot of political rhetoric as well. However, to answer your question about this anarchy and chaos bit, that came from, the police, based on a video they shared in which somebody was heard making a claim that there needs to be dead bodies for the movement to, pick up momentum or something on those lines.
Right, we can hear some, in fact, this is live visuals, in fact, coming in where police is using tear gas to keep the protesters at bay. And these visuals, in fact, are coming in from Kolkata. Various points, one where Saurabh is and some other places as well. You can see some protesters being detained as that woman, in fact, being detained and taken away. There are, clashes at this moment, and the police, in fact, trying to push back as these protesters try to break the barricades as well. But, Saurabh, while, these protests are going on at this moment, there are at multiple places where injuries have been reported from both sides. The police, which says that their people have been injured in stone pelting, while the protesters also claim to have been injured in the police, in fact, use of force.
Yes, so far what we've seen, it seems to be minor injuries, just because we've not, of course, examined them medically. But yes, there are injuries on both sides. In fact, we saw a police officer also having received injuries being led away, and we saw some protesters also being taken away on stretchers. But, let me just give you an example of what the police are allowing and what they're not allowing. Now, this side you see riot control police. So the moment the protesters try and come and breach the barricades and this police cordon, they are being stopped by the police. But if they sit on the streets like this and, of course, peacefully protest without actually causing any real, sort of attempt to move forward towards Nabanna, the police are not really interfering with that. Now, this, like I told you, this is one of the main carriageways of the Kona Expressway. This is the
On with me, there is an official reaction coming in from the Kolkata police
वो एग्जैक्टली मुझे पता नहीं, वो शाम में आपको लाल बाजार से सेंट्रली बता दिया जाएगा कितने लोग इंजर्ड हुए, क्या हुआ.
Saurabh, go ahead.
Yes, what I was saying is that, yes, the police have also now, allowed these kind of protests. And this, of course, is on the main flank of the carriageway of the Kona Expressway. This is the carriageway that, outbound traffic from the city uses. And these are, what the police are allowing today is this, that you can sit, of course, protest here because this road has been blocked for traffic. But beyond that, if the protesters try and break the barricades or try and move towards Nabanna, that's where the police are, of course, using force to prevent them from doing so. And you can see, of course, this side, the police are ready with, tear gas, guns and tear gas ammunition. But those are being used only when the protesters try and move this side. Here, for example, you can see a lot of protesters on the other side. If I can ask my camera person to pan the camera and show you, this is something that the police are at this point not interfering with. They are allowing them to continue to protest as far as people are sitting here. But again, whether these are students groups or not, whether they have political affiliation or not, who do they belong to, these are, this has become a debate of political rhetoric between the Trinamool and the BJP. Independently on the ground, it is very difficult for reporters to identify their political affiliations unless we know them personally or have interacted with them in the past. Obviously, these are, the Trinamool's allegation is these are not students, but these are BJP and ABVP, supporters. And the BJP says that these are not political protesters, but people have come on their own. So you will see that political rhetoric and the political, blame game play out between the two parties. However, the situation remains tense with, major arterial roads in Kolkata blocked for traffic. Traffic in and out of the city has, been affected, especially if you're coming to places like Shantragachi to catch a train, etc. By road, getting there is difficult. So that remains the situation on the ground. A law and order situation does prevail on the ground at this point.
Right. We also were seeing some visuals where the police is standing and sporadic stone pelting, in fact, taking place. Few of the policemen trying to save themselves from the stones being hurled towards them. On the other hand, many places where the police, in fact, was seen arresting people and also water cannons along with tear gas, in fact, shells being lobbed on the protesters is also being visible. Now, irrespective, the question, of course, every time there are protests, and you'll keep hearing the same language, ladies and gentlemen, state after state, if there are these kind of protests or anger, whether it is political parties, the opposition, or the people coming out on the ground, that the law and order situation is in fact the main concern as far as the police is concerned. But politically, of course, the government, like we had the Trinamool Congress spokesperson, in fact, saying that there should have been much more force being used by the police. The fact remains that people have the right to protest, and of course the police have to deal with the situation as they deem fit regarding with whatever is happening on the ground. But it can't be a set rule where the opposition, the ruling party starts saying that the police should be more, in fact, high-handed in their approach. The fact at this moment that this is a result, the anger against the Mamata Banerjee government, whether these protesters are politically affiliated or not, the fact remains that till the time the protest is peaceful, then of course, and there has to be some method to all this, where designated places are given to protesters, where they can come and show their anger, show their frustration on whatever issue. At this moment, this is against the Arjikar Medical College and Hospital rape case, where 31-year-old woman doctor was brutally murdered and killed. Let me just play out these visuals for you, where the police is arresting a few people, as you can see on your screens at this moment. Police detaining people and pushing them into this van. On the other hand, also you can see certain people being detained, being picked up and dragged by the police as well. So situation tense as far as Kolkata is concerned, where in multiple areas, there are these protests which are going on. Saurabh is at one point. You can see, in fact, ladies and gentlemen, there a protester being dragged there by the police. And Saurabh, where you are at this moment, you said very clearly there is a distinction where people are sitting and protesting. The police is letting them. Where they are trying to break the barricades is where the police action is taking place.
Yes, that is what has happened even here. When these protesters tried to break the barricade, the police acted against them. But for now, the police have allowed them to sit here and continue their protests. They are continuing their protests on the main carriageway of Kona Expressway, which is the one of the major routes leading out of the city, connecting the national highways to Delhi and Mumbai. Now, no traffic has been allowed on this road since the morning, and it's been over 5 hours at least, or 4 or 5 hours, that traffic on this route has been stopped. And remember, today is also a day of exams, and a lot of people have to go and reach their examination centers. So one of the things, of course, the police mentioned is that they would make proper arrangements for those who need to go to examination centers. And we haven't heard any reports yet of people being unable to reach examination centers, though we'll have to keep an eye on that as well. But at this point, though, the protests continuing well into the afternoon, late afternoon. And, if they, like I said, I'll ask my camera person to pan and show you the visuals. If they actually, sit and protest like this, like you see in these pictures, where they're sitting on the road and protesting, then the police are allowing this. And you can see here, of course, this gentleman who's part of the protesters waving the tricolor, the Indian tricolor. That's something that the police won't necessarily act against, because you can see, of course, in these pictures as well, the police standing by with, of course, armed with tear gas and, other riot control equipment. But when these protesters try and move towards Nabanna, the state secretariat, where, of course, the police say is a high security zone, and like several other zones in the city, there, of course, the police are using force to disperse the crowds. And every time there is, of course, an attempt to break the barricade or to move forward towards Nabanna, the police action is following with the use of force. Now, this does not mean that there is no anger on the streets. There is a lot of genuine anger against the incident. There are a lot of questions that the government has to answer. In fact, there are lapses that have taken place in terms of managing in terms of the management at RG Kar Medical College and Hospital. Why didn't they file an FIR immediately after the incident? Why did someone from the hospital call, the parents of the girl? This is not from the police, but someone from the hospital called the parents of the girl and informed them that it was a case of suicide. These are parts of the probe that perhaps the CBI will now look at, because the investigation has been handed over to the CBI. The CBI said, in court, in the Supreme Court, that the crime scene had been tampered. And of course, Kapil Sibal, the lawyer for the West Bengal government, said, no, that's not true. It's been videographed. However, we've been speaking to the police on whatever little investigation they've managed. And the police say that their investigation was not complete. It was taken away from them while they were doing it. But they said that till the time they had the investigation, there wasn't enough evidence to suggest anyone else from the apart from the accused they have arrested was involved. But there is considerable amount of anger, because there are valid questions, and that valid question is, this is someone who's working at a hospital, a doctor, and she, of course, faces a heinous crime like this, rape and murder, inside the hospital at her workplace. And then, of course, days later, there's a vandalism at the RG Kar Medical College and Hospital. Now, the police have been pulled up for their failure to prevent that vandalism. And, of course, now the police say that because, on that day, there were Reclaim the Night protests, and these protesters who had come with the intention of vandalizing the RG Kar Medical College, they, of course, mixed with the crowds that were out on the streets that evening during the Reclaim the Night protests. They, of course, at that time, couldn't identify them. So today they say they've, made, a lot of arrangements of security, and they've been, we've seen the police, they haven't really picked up everyone who's protesting, but they've been identifying people who've been making trouble and then picking them up and taking them away, as we've seen in ones and twos.
Saurabh, thank you for joining us with that report from the ground. The situation remains tense, as there is still, in fact, protesters on the street facing off with the Kolkata police who want to, in fact, go towards the secretariat in Kolkata. Anger against the West Bengal government, in fact, and the way they have handled the situation. Now, politics aside, at this moment, for people in Kolkata, a lot of inconvenience, because major roads at this moment are blocked because of these protests as well. We are slipping into a very short break. News and updates will continue. Kolkata remains our top focus. Stay tuned.
Landslide devastation in Kerala's Wayanad. Join NDTV's initiative. Donate for Kerala.
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get access to the best journalism and storytelling on your smartphone or tablet. The NDTV app. News that matters to you.
Hi, I'm Shreya Saran. Kerala's Wayanad area is hit by devastating landslides, resulting in loss of lives and livelihood. Kerala needs your help right now. Let's join NDTV initiative. Come, donate. Let's rebuild Wayanad.
Join NDTV's initiative. Donate for Kerala.
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels.
Hello and welcome. You're watching NDTV. I'm Gargi Rawat. Coming up ahead, the Prime Minister has a telephonic conversation with Vladimir Putin. More details on that. Also, the protests taking place in Kolkata. Let's take a look at the headlines. Over the rape horror, police protesters have a showdown in Kolkata. The police try and stop the Nabanna march. Protesters clashed with the cops, pelted stones. The police used water cannons and fired tear gas as well. In Jodhpur, a hospital horror now. A minor is gang raped in a hospital on August 25th. The Rajasthan police suspect the contractual staff was involved in the gang rape of the minor girl. Another prominent leader gets bail. The Supreme Court grants conditional bail for Kavitha, who was arrested in the liquor policy case after Manish Sisodiya. Relief for Kavitha. The top court also educates the Delhi High Court on its bail denial, says cannot deny bail because someone is educated. Another land scam rocks Karnataka, and after Muda, now allegations on Mallikarjun Kharge's family trust. The BJP says Kharge's family trust usurped industrial land. Priyank Kharge hits back, says nothing illegal in the allotment. A major impact of Mollywood's Me Too moment, of fallout in the Kerala film industry. The AMMA is disbanded, that is the Film Federation is disbanded as all members of the Malayalam Movie Artists Association quit. The body is dissolved. And in bad news for Indians, Canada and Australia has tightened its immigration rules. Canada to cut temporary work permits, while Australia will be limiting foreign students at university. All right, so those are the top stories we're tracking. But first, the breaking news just coming in. Prime Minister Narendra Modi had a telephonic conversation with Russian President Vladimir Putin today, where he shared insights from his recent visit to Ukraine. The Prime Minister also reportedly reiterated India's stance on the Russia-Ukraine war. Remember, the Prime Minister has said in the past and several times, which he reiterated in Ukraine as well, that this is not a time for war. So the Prime Minister dials the Russian President, discusses the situation in Ukraine and the war, and reiterates the call for peace in this call with Putin, and says committed to peaceful resolution. So this phone call coming just days after the Prime Minister's visit to Ukraine, the first and a historic visit by an Indian Prime Minister. The Prime Minister dialing Vladimir Putin and sharing his insights from the recent Ukraine visit and reiterating India's stance on the Russia-Ukraine war. That is the big breaking news coming in right now. Just days after his visit to Ukraine, the Prime Minister and Vladimir Putin exchanged perspectives on the Russia-Ukraine conflict. Prime Minister Modi spoke with the Russian president and discussed bilateral ties, as well as his recent visit to Ukraine, where he met Zelensky, and the Prime Minister in fact posted on social media, spoke with President Putin today, discussed measures to further strengthen special and privileged strategic partnerships, exchange perspectives on Russia-Ukraine conflict, and my insights from the recent visit to Ukraine, reiterated India's firm commitment to support an early, abiding and peaceful resolution of the conflict. Let's go across to Ghazali now for more. So Ghazali, a few days after his historic visit to Ukraine, the Prime Minister has this conversation with Vladimir Putin.
Yeah, certainly, and that shows that India has yet again emphasized the fact that it is working for peace, as the Prime Minister briefed Mr. Putin about his trip to Ukraine and what he had briefed Mr. Zelensky there, that India is there to talk about peace. And
no allegations against him, just out of foreign.
And the second big takeaway from this conversation is that as India was being criticized by the West for first going to Moscow and being very pro-Russia, this is something which the Indian government has yet again emphasized, is that India has got its own foreign policies and priorities. It doesn't depend upon how West describes it or sort of receives it. So in a sense that Prime Minister met Mr. Zelensky, talked about peace and a peace plan. He also spoke to the other stakeholder, which is Russia's President, Mr. Putin. And very few leaders, and I would say perhaps in the global south, it is only Mr. Modi, the Indian Prime Minister, who has been able to speak to both the leaders, be it Mr. Zelensky and Mr. Putin, about the ongoing war in Europe, and also who is very boldly talking about establishing peace and bringing a halt to this war.
All right, thanks so much, Ghazali, for joining us with those details. So Prime Minister Narendra Modi has that telephonic conversation with Vladimir Putin. They exchange views, and also, as Ghazali was telling us, he updates him on the recent visit to Ukraine and reiterates India's commitment for a peaceful resolution. All right, some breaking news now coming in on the Mollywood Me Too moment that is taking place ever since allegations have come tumbling out about sexual harassment by several women, several actresses, and this is after the Justice Hema Committee report that spoke about this, how extensive the sexual harassment is in the industry. And now the breaking news is that AMMA has been disbanded and Mohan Lal has resigned as the president of the Association of Malayalam Movie Artists. And in fact, several allegations made against this body, not in particular against Mohan Lal, but also against how it was dominated by men and how several women were actually forced to leave the industry if they spoke out, and how many of them faced instances of sexual harassment. Remember, NDTV has been tracking this story very, very closely. We've had we've spoken in fact to several of the victims of sexual harassment in the industry who recounted how they were harassed. Actor Meenu Muniyar also spoke to us. She is somebody who came out with very, very serious allegations against, in fact, an actor turned MLA as well, and that is something that has made the Kerala government uncomfortable, and the Kerala government on its part, remember, has set up an SIT. But the big breaking news right now is that AMMA, that is the Association of Malayalam Movie Artists, has disbanded and Mohan Lal has quit as the president. Let's go across to Uma Sudhir now for more. Uma, a big impact of this Me Too moment that the Malayalam film industry is having, and now AMMA disbanded, Mohan Lal has quit as president.
Yes, indeed. The Association of Malayalam Movie Artists has issued a statement saying that Mohanlal is resigning as the president, and what we understand is that it's a joint letter by all the executive committee members, and all of them have together given this joint resignation, saying that in the light of the allegations that have come about, they believe that it is their moral duty to resign. What I must point out is that Mohanlal was in fact elected a third time as the president of AMMA only in the month of June. End of June is when the elections took place for AMMA, and that's when Mohanlal was re-elected, in fact, a third time. But what has happened in the last few days is that not just Siddique, who was functioning as the secretary of the Association of Malayalam Movie Artists, he had to resign on Sunday. In fact, he resigned after allegations were made by another woman on Saturday, saying that she was in fact subjected to sexual assault. In fact, she mentioned rape and also physical assault by Siddique, who she said had called her to discuss a movie project and had sexually assaulted her after addressing her as Mole, in a Mole meaning daughter in Malayalam, in a social media kind of a message that he had sent to her. Subsequently, Meenu Munir, who also spoke to NDTV, has mentioned not just the name of Kollam MLA Mukesh, but also the names of several others who in fact are part of the same Association of Malayalam Movie Artists, and that includes Edavela Babu, who in fact was secretary before Siddique took over as secretary in the organization. Before that, Siddique had been in fact treasurer in the same organization, and I believe that he was not very keen on taking up or continuing with the role. But Mammootty, another big star in Malayalam film industry, had in fact appealed to Siddique to continue, and that's how we had continued. But now, yesterday we were running pictures and speaking about actor Jayasuriya as well, against who again Meenu Munir had said certain things, saying that when she was shooting for a movie and acting as chief secretary inside the Kerala Secretariat, she alleges that actor Jayasuriya had come and embraced her from behind. So all that adding up with many of the members of the Association of Malayalam Movie Artists facing allegations, serious allegations in fact, from women who say that they were controlling the Malayalam film industry, that they did not stand up for the victims. In fact, even Mohanlal was attacked by Shami Tilagan, who is the son of Tilagan, a very veteran actor. Shami himself is an actor, and he had asked the question why Mohanlal is not reacting to all these allegations that are being made about the Malayalam film industry, considering that he is the president of the Association of Malayalam Movie Artists, and Mohanlal had not responded. But now, of course, the response is coming in the form of this resignation by Mohanlal. So a lot of churning, should I say, happening in the Malayalam film industry. Almost an uproar that's been created by so many women coming forward and saying that all is not well with the Malayalam film industry, that there is a domination by the male, not just the stars, not just the actors, but also producers and also directors. Yesterday we also had another junior artist who had made a complaint against yet another star. So it's a series of complaints that have come forth, and now that taking the toll on the Association of Malayalam Movie Artists, which incidentally is supposed to represent the cause of the cine artists. It conducts several events every year, raises funds for the aging artists and tries to provide them with some kind of support and pensions, some form of financial help as well.
Right.
But it is also meant to stand up for the women artists. Beena Paul, who we had spoken to on NDTV, she had said that if organizations like AMMA were dominated by men, it's going to be a problem. But I must point out, Gargi, that there are 4 women members on the AMMA as well, and that is something that has been mandated by the bylaws of the institution itself. Back to you.
All right, Uma, yes, questions have been raised about, Mohanlal and Mammootty's silence ever since, these allegations and the HEMA committee report has come out. Also, as you mentioned, these allegations that were made by Meenu Munir, and it will also involve actor turned politician Mukesh, and that's something that's put the state government also into a somewhat tricky situation, isn't it? And that too is being questioned.
Yes, indeed. See, now we have already seen the resignation of all the members of the Association of Malayalam Movie Artists coming in after the allegations of sexual, misconduct against some of their members, and taking some sort of a responsibility. The Association of Malayalam Movie Artists has now tendered its resignation. Just, should I say, hardly 2-3 months into the new association that was formed with new incumbent members. So now, what will Mukesh do? He is the Kollam MLA. He is part of the ruling federation, the left front, government, and he has been elected as a Kollam MLA. So, what is his action going to be? Will he wait for the investigation itself to take place before he tenders his resignation? That's a question that would be asked certainly. But what we saw yesterday was that in Kollam, the BJP activists there, the BJP workers there had in fact held a protest demonstration saying that he must step down pending this investigation. The other side, the special investigation team that was constituted and announced by Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan after an emergency meeting that happened on Sunday, that's a 7-member committee expected to have at least 4 women members, IPS officers. What is the mandate of that particular committee? That is something that we need to watch keenly. Whether they will only take cognizance of women who come out and complain at this stage, or will they start looking at all the testimonies that have been given in the HEMA Commission, and will they start registering FIRs or investigate on the basis of what was told to the Commission itself?
Right, Uma, for viewers who are just tuning in, a big impact of the Me Too moment that is, the Malayalam film industry is having is that the AMMA, that is the Association of Malayalam Movie Artists, has disbanded, and president of AMMA, Mohan Lal, has resigned as well. Uma, as you were pointing out, that many have questioned Mohan Lal's silence ever since the HEMA committee report came out.
Yes, indeed. We saw Shami Tilakan, one of the actors, and his family is in fact full of actors. He had spoken about and questioned why Mohan Lal is staying silent. I spoke to Shami Tilakan this morning, and he said, yes, it's a very valid question to raise because his own father, Tilakan, who was a veteran actor in the Malayalam film industry and in fact passed away in 2018, Tilakan was subjected to, or allegedly, reportedly subjected to harassment because of Tilakan talking about what he called something that the HEMA committee also has used the same word. He used the word mafia, cinema mafia, which was controlling the Malayalam film industry. And the word and reports had been suggesting, saying that someone like Tilakan had stopped getting work in the industry because of this kind of, he's being debarred from the industry because he spoke up asking about the control by certain members who are dominating the Malayalam Movie Artists Association as well. And subsequently, after the death of Tilakan, his son had once again raised this issue in the Association of Malayalam Movie Artists, and there was a talk of having a probe to find out whether indeed Tilakan was wronged or not. But what I must say is that the HEMA Commission report also in fact spoke about a famous actor who had been denied work because he raised his voice and asked certain questions about the Malayalam film industry not functioning in a professional manner and being controlled by a few people, and word going out unofficially in fact saying that this person shall not be entertained by any of the production houses. So when industry is controlled by a handful of people, in this case we are talking about Tilakan, who was a male artist, saying that this industry is controlled by a few whose writ in fact is running in this association. That had raised certain questions, and now the Association of Malayalam Movie Artists also saying that they are going to take the moral high ground in the sense and resigning. Mohan Lal also giving in his resignation. I have not yet seen a copy of the statement, but I do understand the content of the statement is that they are jointly saying that they are resigning, and therefore the body which was elected June 30th, the Association of Malayalam Movie Artists, that is now stepping down. So what happens next, whether these individual artists still continue to be big personalities in Malayalam cinema, as you mentioned, whether it's a Mohan Lal, whether it's a Mammootty. Of course, Mukesh himself has been accused of wrongdoing by a particular artist. There is a technician, a casting director as well, who has made allegations against these top star, and therefore all that possibly coming into investigation now. But whether the contours of the report itself are to be defined by the Home Department today, and we await that circular which will mention what exactly this special investigation team is meant to investigate. Back to you.
All right, Uma, thanks so much for joining us with that big breaking news. All members of the Malayalam Film Association have resigned, and also President Mohanlal too resigns. This is just 2 months after the members of AMMA were elected. A big impact of the Me Too movement that Mollywood, that's the Kerala film industry, is currently having. We'll continue to track this. Moving on now to news from Kolkata of the protest march today. Chaotic scenes were seen on the streets of Kolkata as the police intercepted the protest march to State Secretariat Nabanna over the rape and murder of the 31-year-old doctor in the city's R.G. Kaur Medical College and Hospital on the 9th of August. Remember, this has become a big issue, and we've seen doctors' protests not just in Kolkata but across the country. But this particular protest was announced yesterday. The Trinamool Congress had hit out claiming that it was politically motivated, that it was being backed by the BJP. However, many student organizations were said to be part of it, but official ones had denied it. Riot police are using tear gas shells and water cannons to stop the protesters from proceeding towards the State Secretariat, and protesters also threw stones towards the police. We just saw a visual of, I think, a young girl who was injured during these clashes, but no permission, remember, was given for this protest march, and Trinamool Congress alleging it's a conspiracy to create unrest and a law and order situation. So 6,000 policemen are out on the streets of Kolkata, and barricading had been put up at various points. Let's just listen in to what BJP leaders Suvendu Adhikari and Gaurav Bhatia had to say.
अरे पूरा प्रदेश में 50-60 हजार पुलिस ये लोग आज फील्ड में उतरा। यहाँ 6,000 पुलिस कलकत्ता पुलिस का, वहाँ 7 से 8 हजार पुलिस। वाटर कैनन they are using, peaceful demonstration, no flag, no bamboo, nothing else. They are using tear gas in Sadragachi. What is going on?
तानाशाह ममता बनर्जी की आंखें, जिन आंखों में एक जघन्य अपराधी के लिए प्यार है, लेकिन जो छात्र हैं, जो डॉक्टर हैं, उनके लिए सख्त कार्रवाई करने के लिए पुलिस को खड़ा करा देती हैं। आज ये मांग करी जाएगी कि अगर मुख्यमंत्री का ये चरित्र है, तो चाहे वो पुलिस कमिश्नर हो, चाहे वो ममता बनर्जी हो, पहले तो इन्हें तुरंत इस्तीफा देना चाहिए।
Well, let's go across to NDTV. Saurabh Gupta, who's been tracking these protests as well as the clashes. What is the situation right now on the ground there, Saurabh?
Well, water cannons have been used in several places, so has tear gas been used, because obviously there were protests that were taking place in different locations as part of the Nabanna Abhiyan or the march to Nabanna protest, given the call for which was given by a body which claims to represent students. But the police, of course, said that that body was not registered, and not part of any, organization that was registered as a students' body. However, that call was given. And of course, the police said that they anticipated violence. Now, of course, they put up barricades, etc., and they also, brought in these water cannons and Vajra vans that you see in these pictures behind me to stop the protesters from marching towards Nabanna. However, some of the protesters tried to break those barricades. They also pelted stones, following which the police also used lathi charge and also used tear gas shells to disperse the crowd. And since then, of course, a group of protesters, however, have been peacefully protesting on the street, on the main carriageway of the Kona Expressway. And this is the road that leads out of the city towards the highway. So as far as these protesters are concerned, because they've been peaceful and not been trying to breach the barricades or not been trying to force past the police barricades, they've been allowed to sit here and protest and continue with their protest. However, anyone who's, of course, trying to breach the barricades and cause problems. In those cases, the police, of course, are acting and apprehending them. In fact, if you see the police, whoever they've detained them in ones and twos after identifying them as miscreants who were part of the troublemakers. Largely, though, otherwise people who were protesting, like here peacefully, you can see a group of people sitting down and protesting. Those people have been allowed to continue with their protests as well. So this is the situation, though in other parts of the city, for example at Howrah Bridge, etc., water cannons have had to be used. Here water cannons have not been used, but this has also become a major political issue with political rhetoric between the BJP and the Trinamool. The BJP says these are peaceful protesters and students who were protesting. The Trinamool says these were not students. These were, if you see them, there are others who joined and hijacked the students' protest and tried to incite violence. And of course, this political rhetoric, of course, has continued. But meanwhile, the protests also continue behind me. But at this point, the situation is calm, even though the police are on alert and on standby with their riot control gear. For as long as the protesters remain like this and, silently protest, the police will not do anything. In fact, if I can ask my camera person to come this side and give you another idea of, visuals, some protesters also remain here at the entrance of the Santragachi station, where, they've taken shelter. So Santragachi station subway entrance, some protesters still remain. And also, you can see, of course, the protesters on this side continuing their protest as we speak here, and continuing to block the main carriageway of the Kona Expressway here in Santragachi, Kolkata.
That's right, Saurabh. And as you said, the BJP, calling Mamata a tyrant, saying she's trying to stop this student march. This march is over, demanding that Mamata step down and justice for the junior doctor. So, the Trinamool Congress, however, hitting out and claiming that this is a deliberate attempt to, impact the law and order in Kolkata.
The Trinamool's response to this is that as long as you demand justice for the victim, as long as you, press for speedy trial, and identify.
Right, Saurabh, sorry to interrupt you. We're just going to go across to where the police is speaking. Let's listen in. Stay with us.
देखिए, अभी सिचुएशन पूरी तरह से कंट्रोल में है. जितने लोग अरेस्ट हुए हैं, काफी मीडिया के दोस्त मुझे पूछ रहे हैं कि कितने लोग इंजर्ड हुए हैं. इसकी संख्या अभी हमारे पास नहीं है. शाम को जब सब जगह से डेटा कंपाइल होगा, उसके बाद लाल बाजार से डेटा जो है शेयर कर दिया जाएगा.
एक क्वेश्चन है आरजी कल को लेकर, एक जो वायरल वीडियो हुआ था कि सेमिनार हॉल का है, उसके बारे में क्या बोलेंगे? क्या सेमिनार हॉल का है?
देखिए, जो प्लेस ऑफ अकरेंस है वो सेमिनार हॉल आरजी करके 3rd फ्लोर पे है. जो वीडियो शायद आपने देखा है, जो बहुत वायरल हुआ है, उसमें देखा जा रहा है कि कुछ लोग खड़े हैं सेमिनार हॉल के अंदर. आपकी जानकारी के लिए बता दूं कि सेमिनार हॉल जो है वो 51 फीट बाय 32 फीट है. डेड बॉडी जहां पे मिली थी, उस डेड बॉडी से 40 फीट बाय 32 फीट पूरा ही पुलिस ने कॉर्डन ऑफ किया था. बाकी की जो जगह थी, वहां पे पेरेंट्स बैठे थे, हॉस्पिटल के डॉक्टर्स बैठे थे, वहां पे इमरजेंसी जो मेडिकल ऑफिसर रहता है, वहीं पे उन्होंने बैठ के ब्रॉड डेथ डिक्लेयर किया. और हॉस्पिटल एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन से एक भी थे. तो इन लोगों को फैसिलिटेट करने के लिए वो जगह कॉर्डन ऑफ के बाहर वाली जगह थी, वो उनकी सुविधा के लिए रखा गया था. लेकिन जो कॉर्डन किया गया था, कॉर्डन के अंदर कोई नहीं आ पाया था.
All right, so that's the big breaking story right now. The protests on the streets of Kolkata, the police, trying to stop the protesters from going towards the Secretariat or Nabanna. To talk more about this, dramatic scenes that we've witnessed on the streets of Kolkata and the massive controversy over the very tragic rape and murder case of the junior doctor. We're now joined by Krishanu Mitra, spokesperson of the Trinamool, and Kea Ghosh, spokesperson spokesperson of the BJP. Krishanu Mitra, first this is a protest. The people are expressing their anger over the rape and murder of the junior doctor, demanding justice. However, the police are using, all force against them in terms of water cannons and tear gas.
First of all, the protest has been going on in West Bengal since 14th of this month. Of course, we are also protesting and we also want justice for whatever has happened at RG Court. But today's protest is not like any other protest. First of all, it was called by an organization that is neither registered and nor we have heard of it earlier. Here, whatever we are witnessing is an attempt to digress from the basic demand of the people for justice for RG Court. First of all, the demand should be directed towards the CBI and the central government that is monitoring the case now. Nabanna or the West Bengal government is nowhere connected with the investigation nor giving justice. Nowhere connected with this. Secondly, the demand of the protesters today is not about justice. It is for the resignation of the Chief Minister. And the so-called organization that has called this, they have not given any satisfactory answers to the questions raised by the police in earlier communications with them. So yesterday the police had a press conference and they declared today's congregation illegal. And you know Nabanna is the state secretariat and it is a restricted zone. And so any attempt to breach the law will be dealt according to the law, according to the constitution, and the police is doing exactly that. And today what they have done, they have broken the police cordon. Police were being attacked. There was bloodshed from the police side. So we have seen the violent protest, and violent protest will be dealt according to the constitution of the country, and the police is doing exactly the same. But BJP, what they are trying to hide is this is backed by the BJP, because this is an unregistered, unknown organization that has gone getting all the oxygen from the BJP leaders. So we are
all right.
BJP
Well, let's give Priya Ghosh a chance to
the
respond to that. Allegations being made over this march that has been taken out today on the streets of Kolkata, saying it's by an organization that is not known. Though Krishnanu Mitra, you will expect the opposition to protest. But yes, Priya Ghosh, your response to what was said.
See, I believe Krishanu Mitra, he possesses some kind of, extra vision. So he knows, or Kolkata police must be having some special vision to understand which organization is lawful and which is not. Any protest against the government definitely, they will try to stop the protesters. Point number 8. And this student organization or whoever, it is just a random group of students who have decided to protest against the brutality of whatever have happened on RG Court. I would like to ask the Trinamool, they are passing the ball over to CBI. What has the West Bengal government or West Bengal police done? We have seen the videos just before this phone-in conversation, Gargi. I was watching, you were having a conversation with the police officer. She was claiming that this room is so-and-so and that is so-and-so. We have cordoned this area with so-and-so. My only point of concern is there's only one door, exit and entry for this seminar room. The police should have sealed the entire room. The perpetrators, the rapists, the potential... we are just taking it for granted as per Trinamool's police is concerned that this is the place of occurrence. In that case, if this is a place of occurrence, why wasn't the room sealed beforehand? Why didn't
the CBI has taken
Kolkata
over the
police?
case? But yes, Krishanu Mitra, there have been many, allegations and conspiracies and a lot of talk regarding this. Your response to what Priya Ghosh is saying, and also, saying how is it that you're saying that this particular organization that has called the protest today, how can you be questioning it?
We are questioning on the basis of the information available and whatever the police did yesterday. Because it is an unregistered organization, and even if you go to the Facebook page of the organization, the Facebook page was opened on 22nd only, just 2 days after the leader of opposition, the BJP leader here, Shubhendu Adhikari, gave a call under the same slogan, Dafa Ek, Dabi Ek.
So this is a slogan hired from the Rajakars and Jamaats of Bangladesh that ousted the Sheikh Hasina government, and Sheikh Hasina has taken refuge under Modi, and that same slogan is being used against the Trinamool government and against Mamata Banerjee by Shubhendu Adhikari and now by the student organization. The police called the members or the leaders of this organization 5-6 days back when they gave this call, and they didn't attend it. Neither they have specified how many people will be congregating, where from their processions routes and everything. So police has given the statement, and now BJP has to answer the how come the BJP state president extended moral and legal support to this unknown organization. Today BJP is claiming a random student organization. Well, very good. We are also saying it's a random student organization. But why BJP leaders are seen along with this so-called organization? Why BJP state president is saying they are extending legal support to them? So they are claiming all those false and fakeries in their Facebook and other WhatsApp chats and everything. They are totally claiming murder for the elected chief minister. Today we have
all right, Kia Ghosh, your response to that you are politicizing this rape, that you are, backing organizations, they're raising questions over them, and the manner in which the BJP has been, spreading stories as well regarding this rape case. We're waiting for the CBI report. The investigations are underway.
See, I would like to tell you, Gargi, that Krishanu Sherlock Holmes Mitra, he has, as I said, he has special powers. Trinamool possess special powers to single out the protesters, single out the people, the students, the group of students who are protesting. Let me remind you of the 14th of August, when women of Bengal all over the state, when they came out in the night, reclaiming the night for the women. Remember, which organization did they belong? And just for Krishanu Mitra's concern, let me tell him something. Yes, BJP is extending moral support to these people who are protesting against the rape, who want justice for the Arjikar victims. It's very sad that Krishanu Mitra or his party, they are not supporting, which means they don't want justice. They don't want the rapists to be hanged. They don't want justice for Abhaya or Nirbhaya 2 or Tilottama, whoever name you call it. Actually, the thing is that on one hand, we are...
All right, I'm completely out of time. Krishanu Mitra, quickly your response to that what is wrong with the BJP supporting this organization that is asking for justice?
If BJP is supporting, so the BJP should take the responsibility and onus also. Why BJP is claiming it's a random organization? You cannot support a random organization. You only support those whom you know. So here BJP is saying it's a random organization, then it is extending support. We don't have any objection to BJP extended support, but BJP should take the onus also, number one. Number two is that it is only the Kolkata police that have arrested the only culprit till now. Within the 19 hours of its investigation, CBI has neither released him nor have arrested any other person. So we want to know how far, where is the CBI's investigation standing now? Last date in Supreme Court, CBI was supposed to give its statement, its version of how far it has taken the investigation from where it has taken over from the Kolkata police. But we have seen nothing of that.
All right, well, we'll have to leave it there. But as you can see, pitched battles on the streets of Kolkata where the protests marched to the Secretariat. Thank you, Kia Ghosh and Krishanu Mitra, for joining us. And clearly, a lot of politics still taking place over the rape and murder of a junior doctor in Kolkata. Today, this protest march to the Secretariat has now become a showdown between the police and protesters. Though in one area, as Saurabh was showing us, the protesters are sitting. The police are not taking any action as they are protesting peacefully. However, in areas where they've tried to break the barricades, tear gas and water cannons have been used against them. But even as the protests and anger over the rape and murder of this junior doctor continue, other areas as well, you have rape cases that have emerged, and in UP as well, the bodies of two Dalit girls In fact, also another shocking case emerging from UP where once again 2 minor girls have been found hanging from a tree. In fact, one is 15, one is 18. The bodies of 2 Dalit girls were found hanging from a tree in Farrukhabad in Uttar Pradesh. Remember, in UP, we've seen over the years a series of such cases. So another shocking such case emerging. The police, though, are suspecting it to be a case of suicide. That is what the SP has said, that the bodies of the 2 girls are found in a mango orchard. Cops say both girls went missing from the village temple where they had gone to see the Janmashtami celebrations or the Janmashtami tableau at around 9 p.m. and didn't return home. Akhilesh Yadav has also posted on this. It is a very sensitive incident. Bodies of 2 girls who had gone for Janmashtami festival in Farrukhabad were found hanging. The BJP government should immediately conduct an impartial inquiry into this matter and submit its report in this suspicious case. Such incidents create a horrific atmosphere in society which causes deep mental trauma to women. So another shocking case there emerging of 2 young girls aged 15 and 18 found hanging from a tree in Uttar Pradesh. They had gone missing, according to the family, after they had gone to watch Janmashtami celebrations at a temple. The family is claiming murder and claiming that it's a staged suicide. However, the police so far, the SP Alok Priyadarshi has said that it could be a case of suicide. We will get you more details on this shocking case. Let's just listen into what the police is saying.
दोनों क्या एक ही फंदे पे लटके?
एक ही दुपट्टा में लटकी। तो
आप क्या लगता है आपको?
हमें ये लग रहा है किसी ने मार के लटकाए।
कोई रंजिश वगैरह किसी से?
हमारी किसी से ना रंजिश।
पुलिस ने अभी तक क्या कार्रवाई की?
अब पुलिस की को पता हमें कोई मालूम नहीं क्या कर रही थी।
घटना की सूचना पर पुलिस ने मौके पर जाके छानबीन की। तो पाया कि वहाँ पे 2 लड़कियाँ, एक की उम्र 18 और दूसरी की 15 बताई जा रही है और वो दोनों बहुत क्लोज फ्रेंड्स हैं, आपस में पड़ोसी भी हैं। जो भी घटना है इसके बारे में पोस्टमार्टम के बाद पूरी तरह से पूरे घटनाक्रम का पता चल पाएगा। मौके से एक फ़ोन भी मिला है जो पेड़ के पास रखा हुआ था और एक सिम एक लड़की के कपड़ों से बरामद हुआ है, जिस सिम की डिटेल निकाल करके उसमें आगे जानकारी प्राप्त की जा रही है।
All right, in other news now, the Supreme Court today granted conditional bail to BRS leader Kavitha following her arrest by the ED in March and then the CBI in the Delhi liquor policy case. Remember, earlier Manish Sisodiya had also been granted bail, and the Supreme Court noted in this case as well a delay in the trial taking place. Also, the Supreme Court strongly objected to the High Court rejecting Kavitha's plea on grounds that she is an educated woman, saying that they had totally misapplied the relevant section of the law. Let's go across to Uma Sudhir now for more. And Uma, huge relief for the BRS leader and indeed the family, the party with Kavitha finally being granted bail.
Certainly. It's now 5 months since Kavitha was in fact sent to jail. On the 15th of March is when the Enforcement Directorate officials had come to Hyderabad and raided her home and subsequently announced her arrest on that day and took her to Delhi. And subsequently on the 11th of April is when the CBI in fact arrested Kavitha from inside Tihar jail itself. And Kavitha has been appealing for bail in multiple courts, and on 1st of July is when the High Court had rejected her bail, and in that certain statements were made which are now being called as perverse by the Supreme Court. The single judge in the High Court had in fact mentioned that she need not be given the benefits that are otherwise given to women under Section 45 of the Prevention of Money Laundering Act, but the Supreme Court found fault with it and said that that is not something that the law is defining, that any educated or so-called sophisticated woman cannot be denied bail, and that she will have to be given the benefit that the Section 45 of the PMLA gives, which says that women can be given an exemption from jail in this particular case. The second part of it is that the court has very clearly said that since the investigation in this case has been completed, the charge sheet has already been filed in the case. There is nothing more to hold on to Kavitha inside jail, and that the trial is expected to take a long time, and therefore justified saying that Kavitha can be given bail both in the cases filed by the Enforcement Directorate as well as the Central Bureau of Investigation. So the Supreme Court upholding that it is bail, not jail, that should be the norm to be followed in the courts as well. And specifically in the case of Kavitha, pointing out that an educated woman, just because she is educated, cannot be denied exemption or the benefits of the provisions that have been given under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act. Two other things: the fact that they are alleging that her phone in fact got formatted during the course of investigation itself, that she had reformatted her phone. Phones been cited as one of the reasons why she was denied bail, and her lawyer, Mr. Wadgi, in fact argued in court saying that that was given to help at home, help had in fact formatted the phone. So right now what we are going to be seeing is BRS will be talking to the media in a short while from now in Delhi, and we expect that after the protest today, Kavitha will be coming to Hyderabad tomorrow.
All right, Uma, thanks so much for joining us with all those details. So the big news there for the BRS, Kavitha finally granted bail after 5 months. With that, we'll slip into a short break. More news updates coming up on the other with us.
Hi, I'm Shreya Saran. Kerala's Wayanad area is hit by devastating landslides, resulting in loss of lives and livelihood. Kerala needs your help right now. Let's join NDTV initiative. Come, donate, let's rebuild Wayanad.
Landslide devastation in Kerala's Wayanad. Join NDTV's initiative. Donate for Kerala.
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get access to the best journalism and storytelling on your smartphone or tablet. The NDTV app. News that matters to you.
Hi, I'm Shreya Saran. Kerala's Wayanad area is hit by devastating landslides, resulting in loss of lives and livelihood. Kerala needs your help right now. Let's join NDTV initiative. Come, donate, let's rebuild Wayanad.
Landslide devastation in Kerala's Wayanad. Join NDTV's initiative. Donate for Kerala.
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get access to the best journalism and storytelling on your smartphone or tablet. The NDTV app. News that matters to you.
Hi, I'm Shreya Saran. Kerala's Wayanad area is hit by devastating landslides, resulting in loss of lives and livelihood. Kerala needs your help right now. Let's join NDTV initiative.
Welcome back. Now news from Uttar Pradesh, where the bodies of two Dalit girls aged 15 and 18 were found hanging from a tree in Farrukhabad. According to the superintendent of police, the bodies were found in a mango orchard in the village, and the cops said that both girls went missing from the village temple where they had gone to see the Janmashtami celebrations at around 9 p.m. on Monday night, and the father has said that that they have no rivalry with anyone. They have questioned the death and claim that it's a staged suicide. Let's go across to Tanishq now for more. And Tanishq, what are the police saying in a very shocking case? In fact, in UP over several years, we've seen such cases emerge in which somehow it's always two girls hanging from a tree. But in this particular case, what are the cops saying?
Well, yes, Gargi, another day, another crime against women reported here in Uttar Pradesh. Now, I would like to first tell about the investigation. The police has recovered a SIM card and a mobile phone from the mango orchard. They have recovered a mobile phone and a SIM card. They are currently looking into it. They are investigating. As of now, prima facie, police says it looks like a case of suicide, but final details will be given after the post-mortem report comes out. So, the bodies have been sent for post-mortem. The post-mortem will be conducted under video surveillance, and then police will finally tell what the reason and the cause of the death. But as of now, the police has said that they are investigating the matter. And in fact, Akhilesh Yadav has also tweeted out saying that there needs to be an impartial probe into this whole in this whole incident. Yes.
That's right, Tanishq. And the family members, however, saying that they're questioning what happened, this suicide theory they're questioning, and they're already saying that it seems like they were murdered and then hanged. Also, Akhilesh Yadav has posted on this saying that it's a sensitive incident and asking that there should be an impartial inquiry.
Yes, of course. Akhilesh, as I was just saying, Akhilesh Yadav just has tweeted out tweeted out saying that an impartial inquiry needs to be done. Now, what happened is that, as you said, both the girls went to attend a Janmashtami program. But did not come Their parents were, of course, searching for them. And the next day, somebody told them that there have been two bodies which are found near the mango orchard. Now, after that, of course, they informed the police. The family of one of the victims is saying that there is some foul play because it does not look like a case of suicide according to the family. The police saying prima facie it looks like suicide, but final details will be revealed after the post-mortem report comes out. Yes.
All right. Thanks so much, Tanishq, for joining us with all those details. A very unfortunate case, really. Two girls found hanging in Uttar Pradesh. Right now, some political news coming from Jammu and Kashmir, where the BJP has released its list for the second and third phase. Remember, today is the final day for filing of nominations for the first phase, and 10 candidates' names have been put in the second phase, 19 for the third phase. Let's go across to Maria now for more. All right, we will be going across to our reporters, but elections will be held on September 20. The second phase will be held on September 25th. Remember, elections in Jammu and Kashmir are being held after a decade. Let's go across to Maria now for more. And Maria, yesterday we saw, some protests, etc., when the list first came out. But now the BJP having released its second and third list as well.
Yes, that's right. And but there are still several seats for which candidates have not been announced, because for the second and third phase, the last date of nomination is still a week away. So the BJP has time, and so do other political parties. But having said that, there is only one revisit or a reconsideration which has happened in that long list. Otherwise, it's similar to the first list that the BJP had released yesterday, which was withdrawn because the party was looking at a review on a couple of seats, which is happening perhaps. One seat has a new candidate and thereafter it's almost the repeat of the same candidate. But one thing is clear, in terms of how the BJP is viewing it, they realize that this is a crucial battle, and particularly after the Lok Sabha polls, where Jammu and Kashmir did see a significant number of voter turnout, long queues, which was seen as a big win for democracy, and the people of Jammu and Kashmir yearning to go back to normalcy in terms of democratic processes. Now the BJP going ahead and releasing its list of 29 candidates in all. and which includes now with the yesterday and today's list, it includes 45 candidates whose names have been announced. And, except for one seat, which is, Vaishno Devi seat, in which Rohit Dubey was given a ticket earlier. And now, another candidate, Baldev Raj Sharma, has been fielded by the BJP. So more or less, its continuity is what the sense is.
All right, thanks so much, Maria, for joining us. BJP releasing the list for second and third phase as well, though as Maria was saying that some names still are left to be released. We'll slip into a short break. News updates continue right here on NDTV. Do keep watching.
Landslide devastation in Kerala's Wayanad. Join NDTV's initiative. Donate for Kerala.
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get access to the best journalism and storytelling on your smartphone or tablet. The NDTV app. News that matters to you.
Hi, I'm Shreya Saran. Kerala's Wayanad area is hit by devastating landslides, resulting in loss of lives and livelihood. Kerala needs your help right now. Let's join NDTV initiative.
Welcome back. Chaos in the Assam Assembly over the rape of a minor and the law and order situation. The opposition has moved an adjournment motion. An Assam minor girl and several crimes against women has been raised. Akhil Gogoi has been suspended from the assembly, and also assembly was adjourned for 10 minutes. So chaotic scenes there seen in the Assam Assembly. The opposition moving, this is a ruckus over the rape of a minor. Let's just listen in.
During this period of his BJP rule, there are at least six cases of rape per day. If we see the statistics of Congress last 15 years, it is more than Congress period. But CM is trying to say that only some community is involved, and there are assault on Indian citizen belonging to minority community. But Chief Minister tries to make it that one community is only responsible for all the crimes in Assam. So we have asked for a discussion, but Chief Minister is saying some very communal things, and so there was protest. We had to walk out.
जो चीफ मिनिस्टर एक स्टेट का मुख्यमंत्री होने के नाते जो सदन के अंदर अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल बात करे, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के ऊपर शपथ लेने के बाद जो अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल बात करे, इससे और बढ़कर क्या हो सकता है? हम लोग कहाँ जाएंगे? स्टेट का मुख्यमंत्री जब स्टेट का जो इमेज है, इमेज खत्म करे, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के अगेंस्ट में बात करे, वो जो हिंदू मुस्लिम का बात करे, ऑपरेशन लॉयजम का डिवीजन का बात करें, तो जाएंगे कहाँ हम लोग?
Well, let's go across to Ratnadeep, and Ratnadeep, take us through what happened in the assembly. Also, the Chief Minister being accused of doing Hindu-Muslim.
That's right. In fact, in Assam Assembly today, the opposition tried to bring in 4 separate adjournment motion on the law and order situation of the state, also on crime against women, with special reference to the minor rape case in Nagaon, as well as there have been in past few days targeting of Muslims of Lower Assam, from Lower Assam who work in Upper Assam areas like Sivsagar district. So these were the issues which were brought in the assembly as an adjournment motion, and while replying to it, the Chief Minister was making a statement when the opposition disrupted his statement several times, accusing him of trying to divide the people. At that point of time, the Chief Minister categorically said that the opposition MLAs, particularly he said that the Bengali-speaking Muslims of Lower Assam, if they would try to take on the entire Assam, then the BJP as a party would try to stop it. This was more of a political statement given the fact that BJP's entire political narrative in Assam has been built upon over the years of protecting the interest of the indigenous or the Bhumiputras of Assam against the alleged illegal immigrants, and therefore the Chief Minister today once again, while responding to the allegations or the issues raised up by the opposition, hitting out at the opposition, saying that the opposition in a way is trying to only promote those people who are who are doubted or who are seen in Assam as illegal settlers. However, on this issue there was ruckus and the assembly had to be adjourned for 10 minutes. In fact, independent MLA Akhil Gogoi was suspended as well. Even now the proceedings of the House continues, and today in fact in the later part of the day, very important bill in terms of a new legislation in terms of the Muslim marriages and divorce is going to be tabled in the State Legislative Assembly.
All right, thanks so much Ratnadi for joining us with all those details, all those developments. So chaos in the Assam Assembly. With that, time for us to slip into a short break. More news updates coming up on the other side. Don't go anywhere.
Landslide devastation in Kerala's Wayanad. Join NDTV's initiative. Donate for Kerala.
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get access to the best journalism and storytelling on your smartphone or tablet. The NDTV app. News that matters to you.
Hi, I'm Shreya Saran. Kerala's Wayanad area is hit by devastating landslides, resulting in loss of lives and livelihood. Kerala needs your help right now. Let's join NDTV initiative. Come, donate, let's rebuild Wayanad.
Some people say the metaverse will only be virtual. One day this lecture hall will be made of code. And driverless cars .
Hello and welcome. You're watching NDTV. I'm Gargi Rawat. Stay with us for all the top news stories. Let's first take a look at the headlines we're tracking at this hour. Protests in Kolkata over the rape horror, and protesters attempt to march to the Secretariat. However, a showdown between the police and protesters as the cops try to stop the Nabanna march. Protesters clashed with the police and water cannons and fire and tear gas are used against them. Horror in Jodhpur hospital where a minor girl is gang raped at the hospital. This took place on the 25th of August. The Rajasthan police said contractual staff that was involved in this gang rape of a minor. Prime Minister Narendra Modi dials the Russian president, discusses the Ukraine war in his recent visit with President Putin. This comes days after meeting with Zelensky. The Prime Minister once again reiterates his call for a peaceful outcome. The Supreme Court has granted conditional bail to BRS leader Kavitha. So the second major political leader to get bail after Manish Sisodia in the excise policy case. The Supreme Court also educates the Delhi High Court on bail denial. Says cannot deny bail because someone is educated. A massive fallout of the Me Too movement in the Kerala film industry, and the AMMA is disbanded. The Malayalam Movie Artists Association has been dissolved, and Mohanlal has quit as the president of AMMA, as all members have resigned. Canada and Australia tighten immigration rules. Canada will cut temporary work permits, while Australia will limit foreign students at universities. Both steps will hit Indians. All right, some breaking news now coming in, and a high-level security meeting has been called over the issue of doctors' safety. Remember, this has become a massive issue ever since the rape and murder of a junior doctor, and we've seen protests across the country with many demanding better security at hospitals. The Home Secretary will be chairing this meeting on the issue of doctors' safety, and state DGPs, in fact, will be participating. The Union Health Secretary will also chair this meeting. Let's go across to Vasudha now for more details. Vasudha, if you could tell us about this meeting, and this is a step by the centre on this very, sensational issue right now, a controversial issue given the kind of protests we've been seeing. So on the issue of doctors' security.
Absolutely, Gargi, just within hours of the first meeting of the National Task Force. Now, this important high-level meeting is going to be held. This is going to be chaired by the Union Home Secretary, and the Health Secretary is also going to be part of this. He's going to be, in fact, co-chairing it. And all the state DGPs will be present. Remember that health is a very critical state subject, so states are equally responsible for health facilities, infrastructure, and security of doctors. Law and order also is a very important state subject. So the centre wants to ensure that states are on the same page when it comes to safety of doctors. And remember that the National Task Force is already working at two levels. One, to form a national framework to ensure that doctors are safe from violent attacks from relatives of patients and also family members of patients. And on the other level, it is also working at ensuring that, these incidents of rape, sexual assaults, brutalizing doctors, that also goes down. So clearly, there is a comprehensive action plan that is being worked out. And NTF actually held its first meeting today, and a lot of macro issues have been looked into, and the Health Ministry has already started this portal in which it has invited feedback from different states, from different influencers and stakeholders. So I think that the process of decision making, the process of consultations has already begun today, and the meeting that will be held tomorrow will be chaired by the Union Home Secretary along with the Union Health Secretary, with the state DGPs being present. It's just a follow-up. It's going to be step number 2 in this regard.
All right. Thanks so much, Vasudha, for joining us with those details. So the Home Secretary will chair that meeting tomorrow on doctor safety. But now news from Kolkata, where a march was announced to the Secretariat today, and we've seen chaotic scenes being observed there as the police intercepted this protest march, which is over the rape and murder of the 31-year-old doctor at the city's RG Kaur Medical College and Hospital on the 9th of August, that has sparked these protests across the country. Now, these protesters are demanding justice for the doctor, and also they're protesting against the Trinamool Congress state government. Riot police used tear gas shells, water cannons to stop the protesters from proceeding towards the Secretariat. Now, no permission was given for this march, and Trinamool Congress has alleged it's a conspiracy to create unrest in Kolkata, while the ruling Trinamool alleges this is a BJP-backed protest. Organizers have said it is a march planned by student organizations, though many known student organizations have distanced themselves. Now, as many as 6,000 police personnel were deployed to stop the protesters, and barricading had been put up in several parts to prevent them from moving forward. Let's just listen to what the BJP had to say.
अरे पूरा प्रदेश में 50-60 हजार पुलिस ये लोग आज फील्ड में उतरा। यहाँ 6,000 पुलिस कलकत्ता पुलिस का, वहाँ 7 से 8 हजार पुलिस। वाटर कैनन they are using, peaceful demonstration, no flag, no bamboo, nothing else. They are using tear gas in Sadragachi. What is going on?
तानाशाह ममता बनर्जी की आंखें, जिन आंखों में एक जघन्य अपराधी के लिए प्यार है, लेकिन जो छात्र हैं, जो डॉक्टर हैं, उनके लिए सख्त कार्रवाई करने के लिए पुलिस को खड़ा करा देती हैं। आज ये मांग करी जाएगी कि अगर मुख्यमंत्री का ये चरित्र है तो चाहे वो पुलिस कमिश्नर हो, चाहे वो ममता बनर्जी हो, पहले तो इन्हें तुरंत इस्तीफा देना चाहिए।
Well, let's go across to Saurabh now for more. And Saurabh, we saw, major scenes of clashes and tear gas as well as water cannons being used against protesters. These are scenes from earlier. What is the situation right now?
Well, I mean, sporadic protests still continuing, but obviously things have calmed down from the visuals that you saw earlier. Obviously, this is going to be a protest that will continue till the protesters disperse. And every time they make an effort to march towards Nabanna, the police will step in, stop them and use whatever measures necessary, which of course includes, your water cannons, tear gas, lathi charge, etc. Now, obviously, these are protests that yesterday the police said were aimed to create anarchy and chaos and instigate violence and destabilize the state. The BJP says that's not true, and in fact the BJP says these were meant to be peaceful protests, but obviously they say that, tear gas, etc. has been used. But at the protest today, we also noticed a lot of people, apart from students, were also there. And when we asked them whether they were students or not, they did say that they were not students, but they joined these protests. Now, this has become a matter of political rhetoric and blame game between the BJP and the Trinamool. However, that is not to discount the genuine anger and frustration that citizens of the state have with the incident that has taken place at Arjikor. And while both the Trinamool and the BJP claim to be in favor of justice for the victim, the focus clearly seems to have shifted to the political, power play, street protests, and in fact also perhaps there will be, more repercussions of this tomorrow as well on the streets of Kolkata and West Bengal. So obviously this is something that, we will now see in the days to play out as, this case of, rather from the narrative of justice for the victim, this now moves to a more political position where the demands of resignation of the Chief Minister, etc. also come into the picture. Because remember, the students who've been protesting at the medical college and hospital, especially at RG say that their demands are very different. Their demands are safety and security for medical personnel, also justice for this victim. Remember, the CBI has taken over the probe many days ago, but it has not provided any official explanation. The CBI says it's a court-monitored investigation and it has submitted a status request to the court. But in the absence of the progress or information about the progress of the probe, that is creating breeding ground for a lot of distrust, anger and further frustration, because no one really knows whether the unanswered questions in this case of whether there were more people involved, whether there was a cover-up, whether there is any sort of action that the police have not taken in the probe, those questions still remain answered in the absence of any official statements, public statements from the CBI. And irrespective of what the CBI says about it being a court-monitored investigation, the absence of that information does create ground for more anger, more frustration, more suspicion, and more misinformation as well.
That's right, Saurabh, because we haven't, the main accused was arrested a day after the discovery of the doctor's body, and, that investigation has been ongoing. But since the CBI took over the case, so many rumors and so much conspiracy was doing the rounds, and still no clarity on that, as you mentioned. So what do we know so far regarding the rape and murder of the junior doctor, and when will we have some sort of update from the CBI? Yes, the last time when the Supreme Court hearing took place, the CBI submitted its report.
And details of that report have not been made public, and that's why obviously there are these questions. What about justice? Is there any progress in the case? Were there more people involved, like many have alleged on social media? Was there a cover-up, like many have alleged? Because if there was one, that's a very serious charge, and that should, of course, those behind it should face scrutiny and accountability. But in the absence of that information, it does become breeding ground for misinformation and also more suspicion. However, what clearly now seems to have taken over is that, instead of focusing on this victim or justice for this victim or, demanding accountability or, updates on the probe, what it seems to become is more of a political blame game between the Trinamool and the BJP. And that is something that we are seeing out seeing play out on the streets. Even though the BJP maintains it has nothing to do with today's protest, the Trinamool says that these are BJP backed protests, and in fact one of them, the students who, or one of the persons who gave a call for today's protest actually met a political leader at a 5-star hotel in Kolkata. So you will have lots of information floating around. In fact, the Calcutta police or the Kolkata police have also clarified, when it comes to the bike of the accused, that they say that, all vehicles of the Kolkata police are registered to the Kolkata police. So that clarification has also come on Twitter from the Kolkata police. This after there was speculation that the bike that the accused may have used was registered to the Commissioner of Police. But the Kolkata police have now clarified and said that all vehicles that are given to personnel or used by personnel are registered to the Commissioner of Police. And in this case, we know from day one that the accused was a civic volunteer who was working with the police.
All right. Thanks so much, Saurabh, for joining us. So things seem to have calmed down this march to the Secretariat today, as we saw clashes on the streets with the police preventing the marchers from moving forward. For the moment, some cases are being reported here and there, but for the moment it seems that the situation on the streets of Kolkata have calmed down. Well, let's get you news now from Kerala and the impact or the fallout of Mollywood's Me Too moment ever since the Justice AMMA committee report came out that highlighted how women have been treated in the Malayalam film industry, and there have been cases of sexual harassment, and women have actually had to leave. And today all office bearers of the Malayalam cinema artist body, including superstar Mohanlal, resigned after the report exposed the systemic sexual abuse in the industry. So Mohanlal, one of the superstars of the movie industry there, someone who has been questioned over his silence, in fact, ever since all these details came out in the AMMA committee report. He is now resigned as AMMA president. In fact, the body has been dissolved amid all these allegations of sexual misconduct. And here at NDTV, we've been speaking to many of those victims as well, and more complaints and instances of sexual misconduct have emerged. The Kerala police has also filed its first case in connection. The police registered a non-bailable case against Ranjit based on the complaint of a woman actor who accused him of sexual misconduct. But yesterday, you had Minu Munir, an actor who spoke to NDTV, who said she accused Jayasuriya and Mukesh of sexual misconduct. Now, Mukesh is the actor turned politician and someone who belongs to the left. We did speak with left leaders Annie Raja and Brinda Karat on what we can expect since this case has been highlighted, since these allegations have come tumbling out.
First of all, we have seen that now the SIT has been constituted, and in fact more and more actors are coming forward and making these allegations. They see that after the formation of the SIT, they see hope. But ma'am, right now what we are also seeing here that the cases are getting filed, but if we talk about recently, Minu Munir in fact has filed a complaint against Mukesh, who also happens to be a sitting MLA of the ruling party. So what is your reaction on that?
See, first of all, we must understand that this SIT has been constituted based on to inquire about the incidents which have reference in the AMMA committee report, Justice AMMA committee report. That committee was constituted by the Kerala LDF government, which was based on a memorandum given by actresses in the backdrop of that sexual assault of an actress, leading actress in Kerala. So the committee has given its report, and now recently, a couple of days back, government has made it public, and then even the people or even the actresses, they have deposed before the Justice AMMA committee. They themselves have come out, some of them. You were asking about that MLA. He is part of LDF, and I am sure that the LDF committee, the left front committee, there is a coordination committee, and that committee will look into it, and it will be proper, and it for that MLA, he himself step away from his position, put his papers.
We are seeing that after AMMA committee report became public, more and more survivors are coming out, they're filing complaints. Now actor Meenu Munir has in fact filed complaint against the sitting MLA, Mukesh. So we also want to know your reaction on that, since he also happens to be an MLA from your party.
The AMMA Commission report, a very, very valuable report, which has so clearly shone the light on the goings on, this, first of all, the rampant sexual harassment in the industry in Kerala, and along with rampant sexual harassment, the working conditions of women, the payments which are not being given to women, and not just actors, but women at all levels of the industry. So I think it's a very, very valuable report, and I think the formation of the SIT by the government is also a very, very positive step, and it provides a platform for women to come. And also I must congratulate these brave women for coming out in public and speaking the truth. And the WCC has also played an extremely important role in enabling this environment where women today can come and speak out. So I think the efforts of the government and the WCC and the individual courage shown by these women, the actors and others in the industry, will certainly help to address all the issues which the AMMA Commission has raised. About MLA Mukesh, what Meenu has said and the statement that he is alleged to have made, I mean, what he said is so sickening. It is absolutely a prime example of sexual verbal abuse.
All right, let's go across to Uma Sudhir now for more. And Uma, we will talk about this response, from women left leaders regarding this Me Too movement. But first, the big breaking news about the Malayalam cinema artist body being disbanded and Mohanlal quitting as the president.
Yes, indeed. I now have a copy of the statement that's been issued by the Executive Committee of AMMA. It's not been signed by Mohanlal. It is signed as AMMA Executive Committee. And of course, the president is Mohanlal. And the vice presidents are Jagadish and Jayan Chertala, who had in fact earlier confirmed the resignation of Siddiq. Siddiq, of course, was the General Secretary and resigned on Sunday. And I must point out that others, including Babu Raj, was someone against who an allegation was made, and a junior artist had spoken to us yesterday, and she had taken the name of Babu Raj as well. This is a 17-member committee that was elected only in the month of June, and June 30th, in fact, less than 2 months ago. And there are at least 4 women members in that, including Ananya, Ansiba, Jomol, and so on. All these women are also part of the AMMA, which is now resigned. So this is quite a major development in the Malayalam film industry after the making public of the AMMA Commission report on the 19th of this month. Ever since that, we have been seeing women coming out one after the other and making these allegations, some of them talking about the testimonies that were given in the AMMA Commission report and agreeing with it, saying that there is indeed a mafia which is controlling the Malayalam film industry, and that women have been subjected to abuse, and that they never got justice even though they took it up at multiple fora. In fact, one of the women even mentioned about the fact that she had tried to become a member of the Association of Malayalam Movie Artists, and that she was mocked, she said, by actor MLA Mukesh, who she again said had actually approached her for demanding some kind of adjustment, as the term is being called, and that she had declined that, and subsequently she says she was denied membership of the AMMA also. So the Malayalam movie artists, others who we have been speaking to, have also been talking about the fact that associations like this, not just of the artists but also of the technicians, are in fact dominated by men, and that whatever was mentioned in the AMMA Commission report is something that someone like the veteran actor Mr. Tilagan, who passed away in 2018, had also referred to, saying that the Malayalam film industry is controlled by a mafia. And when he had questioned about the domination by certain people in the industry. That's when he started getting isolated and was denied work, and his son had in fact taken up his cause, and he had also raised this question. Shami Tilagan had raised the question about why Mohanlal is not responding to the findings of the AMMA Commission report, and also about the allegations that have subsequently come against some of the members of the Association of Malayalam Movie Artists. I must point out here that Suresh Gopi, who is the MP of the BJP from Kerala, from Thrissur in fact, and is a union minister as well, he was confronted by media in Kerala and asked questions, and he got upset. He did not react to the questions which were posed by the media in that case, but the BJP in Kerala has distanced itself from the comments that were made by Suresh Gopi in this context. Suresh Gopi also, of course, is a part of the Association of Malayalam Movie Artists, and in fact had also participated in the voting that took place in the month of June. Back to you.
All right, Uma, and also the politics of it. You just spoke about Suresh Gopi, and you know how his line was slightly different, perhaps from the party there, but also about the Mukesh, the left leader, who an MLA who was in the film industry. Now his complaint about him has also emerged, and you just heard what Brinda Karat and Ani Raja both were talking about and saying that they will take action. So there has been politics as well ever since, of course, this report came out.
Yes, indeed. Before the allegation against Mukesh was voiced by a woman actor from Kerala, before that he had in fact said that yes, there should be a kind of a probe into the allegations that are being made against Siddique. Of course, subsequently, when the name of Mukesh came up, that's when he started again saying that there is this politically motivated, that there is some attempt to, in a sense, target the left-front government. That is something that Mr. Ranjit Balakrishnan, who is a film director, who was again faced allegations and then had resigned from the Kerala Chalachitra Academy as chairperson of the Kerala Chalachitra Academy. He had also hinted at some kind of a political conspiracy. What the left-front government now chooses to do with regard to Mr. Mukesh, who is of course the Kollam MLA of the CPM, that is something still left open-ended. As of now, what we know is that the special investigation team has in fact met with some senior police officers as well, and it is being now said that they will listen to all these instances of allegations of harassment that the women have faced and probe into it. And of course, there are going to be 4 women on that particular commission. Back to you.
All right, thanks so much, Uma, for joining us with all those developments that have taken place in Mollywood ever since all these Me Too allegations have emerged. Now, a shocking case from Uttar Pradesh where the bodies of 2 Dalit girls aged 15 and 18 were found hanging from a tree in Farrukhabad. According to the police there, the bodies of the 2 girls were found in a mango orchard in a village near Kayamganj. Cops added that both girls went missing from the village temple where they had gone yesterday to watch Sri Krishna Janmashtami tableau. This was around 9 p.m. on Monday night, and they did not return home. Akhilesh Yadav has also posted on this, saying it's a very sensitive incident and that the BJP government should immediately conduct an impartial inquiry into this and submit its report on this suspicious case of murder. Though the police say that prima facie it looks like a case of suicide. But let's just listen into what the police had to say.
दोनों क्या एक ही फंदे पे लटकी?
एक ही दुपट्टा में लटकी। तो
आप क्या लगता है आपको?
हमें ये लगा किसी ने मार के लटकाया।
कोई रंजिश वगैरह किसी से?
हमारी किसी से ना रंजिश।
पुलिस ने अभी तक क्या कार्रवाई की?
अब पुलिस की पता हमें कोई मालूम नहीं क्या कर रही थी।
घटना की सूचना पर पुलिस ने मौके पर जाके छानबीन की, तो पाया कि वहाँ पे 2 लड़कियाँ, एक की उम्र 18 और दूसरी की 15 बताई जा रही है, और वो दोनों बहुत क्लोज फ्रेंड्स हैं, आपस में पड़ोसी भी हैं। जो भी घटना है इसके बारे में पोस्टमार्टम के बाद पूरी तरह से पूरे घटनाक्रम का पता चल पाएगा। मौके से एक फ़ोन भी मिला है जो पेड़ के पास रखा हुआ था, और एक सिम एक लड़की के कपड़ों से बरामद हुआ है, जिस सिम की डिटेल निकाल कर उसमें आगे जानकारी प्राप्त की जा रही है।
Well, let's go across to Tanish now for more. And Tanish, a shocking case, and the post-mortem has now been completed?
Yes, of course. Gargi, the latest update is that the postmortem has been completed. The DIG will soon visit the family members, and as of now, the family members of both the victims are taking the mortal remains. Mortal remains. So this is the latest update. The postmortem was conducted. The police had said that prima facie it looks like a suicide, but but details will be revealed after the postmortem report comes out. So all eyes on the postmortem report that what was the cause of the deaths. What actually happened is that both the girls went for a Janmashtami program last night, and they did not return home. Of course, according to the parents, they frantically searched for them, but were not able to find them until in the morning. Someone told them that there have been 2 bodies which have been found hanging on a tree in the mango orchard. That is when they went there and then informed the police, and then this incident came to light. So yes, of course, a shocking case. But the latest update, the postmortem has been completed. In the postmortem report, the details will be revealed, and as of now, DIG will be visiting the victim's family. Yes.
All right. Thanks so much, Tanish, for joining us with those details. So a shocking case there from Uttar Pradesh. And now news from Jodhpur, where also a sexual sex crime against a minor, a 15-year-old girl, was allegedly gang raped by 2 youths within the premises of the government-run Mahatma Gandhi Hospital in Jodhpur. Now, this incident took place on Sunday, but the police were only informed Monday. According to the police, this teenager had left her home on Sunday evening after being reprimanded by her mother, and she was approached by 2 men who then raped her in the hospital premises. The cops suspect that contractual staff were involved in this gang rape of the girl, and the forensics team and the police are at the hospital. Well, with that, we'll slip into a short break. More news coming up on the other side. Stay with us.
Landslide devastation in Kerala's Wayanad. Join NDTV's initiative. Donate for Kerala.
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get access to the best journalism and storytelling on your smartphone or tablet. The NDTV app. News that matters to you.
Hi, I'm Shreya Saran. Kerala's Wayanad area is hit by devastating landslides.
Landslide devastation in Kerala's Wayanad. Join NDTV's initiative. Donate for Kerala.
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get access to the best journalism and storytelling on your smartphone or tablet. The NDTV app. News that matters to you.
Hi, I'm Shreya Saran. Kerala's Wayanad area is hit
Welcome back. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today spoke with Russian President Vladimir Putin and discussed bilateral ties as well as the Prime Minister's recent visit to Ukraine. The Prime Minister in fact posted that spoke with President Putin today, discussed measures to further strengthen special and privileged strategic partnerships, exchanged perspectives on the Russian-Ukraine conflict, and my insights from the recent visit to Ukraine reiterated India's firm commitment to support an early, abiding and peaceful resolution of the conflict. Well, let's go across to Ghazali now for more on this. And Ghazali, so the Prime Minister speaking with Putin, and this comes days after his visit to Ukraine.
Yes, the Prime Minister particularly spoke to the Russian President Vladimir Putin about his visit to the Ukraine and what all was discussed there, because we saw a very positive response from Mr. Zelensky, the Ukrainian president, about India's involvement in establishing peace or reaching some kind of negotiation at the time when situation between Ukraine and Russia has now reached another boil. Now, Ukraine has occupied areas of Russia and this has been the most volatile situation since this war broke out between the two countries. And India, or India's Prime Minister Mr. Narendra Modi, happens to be one of the very few leaders who has been in touch with both the parties, Ukrainian President Mr. Zelensky as well as Russian President Mr. Putin. And yesterday, Prime Minister had also spoken to US President Mr. Biden and had briefed him about his visit to Ukraine as well as what happened there in Russia. So it's in continuity. The communication is going on. The channels of communication are open between India and the two other parties, Ukraine and Russia. And Russia has also kind of shown some optimism. If you see the readout from the Russian Foreign Ministry that how Mr. Putin had responded to this meeting, it appears now that Mr. Modi is in a position to kind of strike a chord between the two countries. While it is still very far-fetched, but India's involvement in this entire diplomatic row or say the war between Ukraine and Russia is being accepted widely by both the leaders, be it Mr. Zelensky or Mr. Putin.
All right, Ghazali, thanks so much for joining us with those details. In other news, the Supreme Court today granted conditional bail to BRS leader K. Kavitha following her arrest by the Enforcement Directorate in March and then the CBI a month later in the Delhi liquor policy scam, in which Arvind Kejriwal, Delhi Chief Minister, and his former deputy Manish Sisodia are also named. Now, K. Kavitha is the second big opposition leader to get bail in this case. Mr. Sisodia, who was arrested in February, was released earlier this month after the Supreme Court noted the delay in trial in his case as well. In fact, the bench today had observed that K. Kavitha had spent 5 months in jail and the trial is not expected soon. They also objected to the Delhi High Court rejecting K. Kavitha's bail on grounds that she is an educated woman. So the Supreme Court had some words on that, calling it totally misapplied, that they totally misapplied the relevant section of the law. Well, let's go across to Sunil Prabhu now for more. And Sunil, so, a big relief for K. Kavitha finally being granted bail in the court, observing that, it's nowhere near this case going to trial currently.
That's right, as they have mentioned in the Manish Sisodia case. And more importantly, according to the Supreme Court bench, the investigation is complete. And for them, they don't believe that Kavitha is, custody is required at this stage for the investigation. And because the thing is behind bars for the last, she's been behind bars for the last 5 months, really, as you rightly pointed out, the trial is not going to start immediately, and it's going to take place, it will take some time because the number of witnesses, the number of documents, is going to be a long drawn-out process. And in their own view, in Manish Sisodia's case, they said bail is the rule, jail is the exception. That has now become the yardstick, and it's in that backdrop that the Supreme Court didn't delay in ensuring that K. Kavitha should be released immediately.
All right, thanks so much, Sunil, for joining us with those details. So, K. Kavitha finally granted bail there by the Supreme Court. Moving on to news now from Assam, and there was chaos seen in the Assam Assembly today over the recent rape of a minor, and the opposition raising the issue of law and order and the spike in crimes against women. Also taking exception to the Chief Minister speaking about Hindu-Muslim in terms of the crimes against women and the rape of the minor that took place recently in the state. Opposition moved an adjournment motion to discuss the rape of the minor girl as well as several crimes against women. Independent MLA Akhil Gogoi was suspended, in fact, from the assembly as well.
During this period of his BJP rule, there are at least six cases of rape per day. If we see the statistics of Congress last 15 years, it is more than Congress period. But CM is trying to say that only some community is involved, and there are assault on Indian citizen belonging to minority community. But Chief Minister tries to make it that one community is only responsible for all the crimes in Assam. So we have asked for a discussion, but Chief Minister is saying some very communal things, and so there was protest. We had to walk out.
चीफ मिनिस्टर एक स्टेट का मुख्यमंत्री होने के नाते जो सदन के अंदर अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल बात करे, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के ऊपर शपथ लेने के बाद जो अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल बात करे, इससे और बढ़कर क्या हो सकता है? हम लोग कहाँ जाएंगे? स्टेट का मुख्यमंत्री जब स्टेट का जो इमेज है, इमेज खत्म करे, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के अगेंस्ट में बात करे, वो जो हिंदू मुस्लिम का बात करे, ऑपरेशन लॉयरिज्म का डिवीजन का बात करे, तो जाएंगे कहाँ हम लोग?
News now from Haryana, that's heading to polls soon, and ahead of those elections, the regional parties, especially INLD and JJP, are trying to woo Dalit voters by forging alliances with such parties. Already, the INLD has made an alliance with the BSP, and now the JJP is also forging an alliance with Chandrasekhar Azad's party to change the political equation. Well, let's go across to Gurpreet now for more. And Gurpreet, with Dalits, representing 21% of the electorate. You have Dushyant Chautala seeing an advantage in tying up with Chandrasekhar Azad's party.
Well, yes, we have seen in Haryana, caste-based politics has already been initiated by the political parties. If we can talk about the BJP has already appointed the Chief Minister from OBC quota, and after that we have seen INLD, specifically the regional party, they are trying to encash the Dalit voters in all over Haryana. We have seen a few days back INLD had a forged alliance with the BSP, keeping an eye on the Dalit votes, and now we have seen today that JJP has already formed alliance with the party with the same intention that they will be able to encash the Dalit voters. So let's see that which party is going to gain, and whether these things, these political calculation will really affect the voters' mind or not, that is yet to be seen, because all the political parties, they are adopting different political strategy to the voters. We have seen the BJP has taken initiative to give bonus to the farmer so that they will be able to woo the farmers. So let's see in the coming days, it will be more clear, and after results it will be clear which political strategy has really worked for which political party. Back to studio.
All right, thanks so much for that, Gurpreet. Well, moving on to news from Jharkhand now, and Champai Soren, a former Chief Minister of Jharkhand and veteran JMM leader, is finally all set to join the BJP this Friday. This was announced by Himanta Biswa Sarma in a late-night post on social media, hailing him as a distinguished Adivasi leader of the country. Last week, the 67-year-old who had to quit as Chief Minister to make way for Hemant Soren to return upon his release from jail, accused party leadership of insulting him, and had announced he would soon decide on his next political course. Days after resigning, Mr. Soren said he would have done more to develop the state had he had more time.
पहले तो सोचा था हम संन्यास ले लेंगे, बाद में जनता कार्यकर्ता उसका हौसला, उसका मांग, तब हम बोला सक्रिय रूप से राजनीतिक में ही रहूँगा। हम बड़ा मंथन करने के बाद देश का माननीय प्रधानमंत्री का उनका ऊपर विश्वास किया, गृह मंत्री अमित शाह के ऊपर विश्वास हमारा बढ़ गया, और भारतीय जनता पार्टी में शामिल होने का हमने निर्णय ले लिया।
Now, a fresh row has erupted in Karnataka over 5-acre land allotted to a trust run by Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge's family and chaired by his son Rahul Kharge. The BJP calling it a misuse of power. The BJP is alleged that this 5 acres of industrial land under the SC quota has been given to the trust run by Karnataka Minister Priyank Kharge's family. An activist also filed a complaint against the Karnataka Minister with the government Tawarchand Gehlot, with Governor Tawarchand Gehlot. However, the Karnataka government, including Priyank Kharge, has rejected the charge, saying that no industrial plot has been allocated to the family trust.
ಕಾಂಗ್ರೆಸ್ ಪಕ್ಷದ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರೀಯ ಅಧ್ಯಕ್ಷರಾದಂಥ ಸನ್ಮಾನ್ಯ ಶ್ರೀ ಮಲ್ಲಿಕಾರ್ಜುನ್ ಖರ್ಗೆ ಅವರ ಪುತ್ರರಾದಂಥ ರಾಹುಲ್ ಎಂ ಖರ್ಗೆ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಕಾನೂನು ಬಾಹಿರವಾಗಿ ಮತ್ತು ಎಲ್ಲ ನಿಯಮಾವಳಿಗಳನ್ನು ಉಲ್ಲಂಘನೆ ಮಾಡಿ ಅರ್ಹ ಕೈಗಾರಿಕೋದ್ಯಮಿಗಳು ಇದ್ದರೂ ಕೂಡ ಅವರ ಪುತ್ರರಿಗೆ ಸುಮಾರು 5 ಎಕರೆಗೂ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಬೆಲೆ ಬಾಳುವಂಥ ಏರೋಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಡಿಫೆನ್ಸ್ ಕಾಲೋನಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇವರಿಗೆ ಲ್ಯಾಂಡನ್ನು ಮಲಾಟ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇದು ಸಂಪೂರ್ಣವಾಗಿ ಅವ್ಯವಹಾರ ಆಗಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಇಡೀ ಪ್ರಕರಣದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಉನ್ನತ ಮಟ್ಟದ ತನಿಖೆಗೊಳಿಸಬೇಕು ಅಂತೇಳಿ ನಾನು ಈ ಹಿಂದೆ ಮುಖ್ಯಮಂತ್ರಿಗಳಾದಂಥ ಸಿದ್ದರಾಮಯ್ಯನವ್ರಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ದೂರನ್ನು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೆ. ಮಾನ್ಯ ಮುಖ್ಯಮಂತ್ರಿಗಳು ಯಾವುದೇ ಕಾನೂನು ಕ್ರಮ ಕೈಗೊಂಡಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಇದರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಾನು ಕಾಂಗ್ರೆಸ್ ಪಕ್ಷದ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರೀಯ ನಾಯಕರಾದಂಥ ರಾಹುಲ್ ಗಾಂಧಿ ಅವ್ರಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಒಂದು ಸುವೀರವಾಗಿ ಒಂದು ಪತ್ರವನ್ನು ಬರೆದು ತನಿಖೆಗೆ ಒತ್ತಾಯಿಸಿದ್ದೆ. ಆದರೆ ರಾಹುಲ್ ಗಾಂಧಿ ಅವರು ಕೂಡ ಯಾವುದೇ ಕಾನೂನು ಕ್ರಮ ಕೈಗೊಳ್ಳಕ್ಕೆ ವಿಫಲರಾಗಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ನಾನು ಅನಿವಾರ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಗೌರವಾನ್ವಿತ ರಾಜ್ಯಪಾಲರನ್ನು ಭೇಟಿ ಮಾಡಿ ತನಿಖೆಗಾಗಿ ಈಗ ಒತ್ತಾಯ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ.
I would like to ask BJP and Mr. Lehersi, what is wrong in procuring a CA site? Firstly, as Mr. Lehersi claims, it is not an industrial plot that was allotted. It is not meant for industrial purposes. We had requested a CA site as per the norms for educational purposes, for developing skill development centers in the region of emerging technologies in the area of aerospace. Neither we have asked for deferred payment, neither we have asked for a subsidy. BJP is unable to point out what the problem is. They are just shooting in the dark.
All right, let's go across to Pratibha now for more. So Pratibha, another land scam issue. They're hitting the Karnataka government and Priyank Kharge. They're giving an explanation. The BJP alleging that 5 acres was allotted to the Kharge family trust.
That's right. In fact, after the Muda scam, this seems to be another land controversy that is brewing in the political corridors of Karnataka, making it a political flashpoint of sorts between the Congress as well as the BJP. Now, the land in question is about the Aero Defence Park, which is near Bengaluru's Devanahalli. And 5 acres of it, meant for civic amenities, has been allotted to this trust owned by the Kharge family, mainly Mr. Rahul Kharge there. And this has definitely caused a lot of concern there, because there have been allegations of nepotism as well as misuse of power and more, which has prompted an activist to go file a complaint, not just with the Chief Minister as well as Mr. Rahul Gandhi, but has now gone on to knock the doors of the Raj Bhavan and file a complaint with the governor there. Meantime, the BJP has also joined him in levelling allegations against the Congress for having facilitated this kind of a land allotment there with the help of KIADB, which is Karnataka Industrial Area Development Board. And the Industries Minister as well as the Congress government have been maintaining the fact that this is justified, and that the person owning this trust is a person who is learned and is also an IIT graduate, and this is only done out of merit. Now, while this is becoming a flashpoint of sorts, we are also looking at what kind of action would be taken by the governor, because the ball is now at the governor's court with respect to that complaint. But in the meantime, yes, all eyes are on how this political blame game would be taken further as far as this land allotment is concerned. Back to you.
All right, Pratibha, thanks so much for joining us with all those details. Well, now some breaking news coming in, and on the Kolkata junior doctor's rape and murder case, the Supreme Court constituted National Task Force meets to look into the issue of doctors' safety, and it's the first meeting really taking place of the National Task Force that had been that had been assigned by the Supreme Court. Well, let's go across to Aishwarya for more on this story. And Aishwarya, give us more details. What do we know so far on the first meeting of this Supreme Court, monitored National Task Force on doctors' security?
The first meeting of the National Task Force had been concluded today under the chairmanship of the Cabinet Secretariat. We have been told that all the members were present of the National Task Force, and it was also the Home Secretary and the Health Ministry, who was also Health Secretary, who was also present in the meeting. All the members who were there had stated that they had an elaborate discussion on the part of the security of the doctors as well. They had received almost 300 to 400 suggestions individually from different stakeholders as well. We've been also told that in this meeting it has been decided by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare that the suggestions can also be uploaded on the website. A link had been generated on the Health Ministry website as well. Apart from it, apart from the national portal, we have been told that the suggestions of major stakeholders after being received on the portal will be also discussed in this meeting. That will be further in tomorrow. Secretary Health along with the NTF members will have now wilder consultation on the various with the various major stakeholders as well. Now, very importantly, because we all know that health is also a state subject, and therefore the reason, looking at the law and order situation in and also the security of the doctors, the meeting that is now called on tomorrow will be through video conferencing. And in this particular meeting, we have been told that the state DGPs had been invited, the chief secretaries of different states has also been invited, and it will be co-chaired by both Union Home Secretary and the Union Health Secretary as well, to have both on the same page. The centre clearly wants that the law and order as well as what the doctor fraternity wants as far as the safety of the doctors are concerned, that needs to be on a single page, and therefore the reason perhaps tomorrow meeting has also been called, and this will be on via video conferencing. But for wider consultation and for the suggestions, important steps been taken on day one of the meeting by the National Task Force.
All right, thanks so much, Aishwarya, for joining us with all those details. So the first meeting of that task force on doctors' security. Now, the big development in the Kerala film industry today, after all the allegations of sexual harassment, all office bearers of the Malayalam cinema artist body, including Mohanlal, superstar Mohanlal, have resigned after a report, the Justice Hema Committee report, exposed systemic sexual abuse in the industry. So one of the superstars of Malayalam movie industry, Mohanlal, resigning as the AMMA president amid allegations of sexual misconduct. Remember, every day there have been fresh allegations coming out. Also, the Kerala police has filed its first case in this connection. The police registered a non-bailable case against Ranjit based on a complaint of a woman actor who accused him of sexual misconduct. Now, another allegation that had emerged was from actor Meenu Munir, who accused Jai Surya as well as Mukesh, that's actor turned politician Mukesh, who is an MLA and a left leader, of sexual misconduct. We spoke to CPI leader Annie Raja on whether the left government will act against him.
First of all, we have seen that now the SIT has been constituted, and in fact more and more actors are coming forward and making these allegations. They see that after the formation of the SIT, they see hope. But ma'am, right now what we are also seeing here, that the cases are getting filed, but if we talk about recently, Meenu Munir in fact has filed a complaint against Mukesh, who also happens to be a sitting MLA of the ruling party. So what is your reaction on that?
See, first of all, we must understand that this SIT has been constituted based on to inquire about the incidents which have reference in the Hema Committee report, Justice Hema Committee report. That committee was constituted by the Kerala LDF government, which was based on a memorandum given by actresses in the backdrop of that sexual assault of an actress, leading actress in Kerala. So the committee has given its report, and now recently, a couple of days back, government has made it public. And then even the people or even the actresses, they have deposed before the Justice AMMA committee. They themselves have come out, some of them. You were asking about that MLA. He is part of LDF, and I am sure that the LDF committee, the left front committee, there is a coordination committee, and that committee will look into it, and it will be proper, and it for that MLA, he himself step away from his position, put his papers.
Landslide devastation in Kerala's Wayanad. Join NDTV's initiative. Donate for Kerala.
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get access to the best journalism and storytelling on your smartphone or tablet. The NDTV app. News that matters to you.
Hi, I'm Shreya Saran. Kerala's Wayanad area is hit by devastating landslides, resulting in loss of lives and livelihood. Kerala needs your help right now. Let's join NDTV initiative. Come, donate. Let's rebuild Wayanad.
Landslide devastation in Kerala's Wayanad. Join NDTV's initiative. Donate for Kerala.
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more.
Welcome back. Getting a home just got even more costlier as per a latest study. Residential prices in India's top 7 cities surge and see a 45% spike in the last 5 years. Now, prices are spiking due to high demand essentially in certain areas. So, while we look at the 7 cities as per the study, it is Hyderabad, Bengaluru, Mumbai NCR, Delhi NCR, Pune, Chennai and Kolkata that are really seeing the spike. But area-wise demand and high demand at that is what is leading to this uptick in the last 5 years as per the study conducted. Now, believe it or not, some prices have witnessed an appreciation as much as 90%. Prices in Bengaluru's Bagalore have spiked as much as 90% between 2019 and the first half of 2024 so far. Rates in Hyderabad's Kokapet have recorded an 89% jump between 2019 and the first half of 2024, while prices in Bengaluru's Whitefield have jumped as much as 80%. And rates in NCR's Dwarka Expressway has spiked, as believe it or not, as much as 79%. Prices in Bengaluru's Sarjapur Road have also surged as much as 58%. So really, Hyderabad and Bengaluru and certain areas in these two cities leading the pack as per this report. Other key markets, of course, also include Hyderabad's Vachulpuli, Telapur. Other key markets also include Navi Mumbai's Panvel, Dombivli and NCR's New Gurugram. But really this uptake and the prices that we've seen, the surge in the last 5 years, many analysts saying post-pandemic, looking at customers really eyeing that luxury space altogether, an indication really of what realty prices look like and how buying a home essentially has just become even more costlier.
Hi, I'm Shreya Saran. Kerala's Wayanad area is hit by devastating landslides, resulting in loss of lives and livelihood. Kerala needs your help right now. Let's join NDTV initiative. Come, donate, let's rebuild Wayanad.
Landslide devastation in Kerala's Wayanad. Join NDTV's initiative. Donate for Kerala.
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get access to the best journalism and storytelling on your smartphone or tablet. The NDTV app. News that matters to you.
Hi, I'm Shreya Saran. Kerala's Wayanad area is hit by devastating landslides, resulting in loss of lives and livelihood. Kerala needs your help right now. Let's join NDTV initiative. Come, donate, let's rebuild Wayanad.
Landslide devastation in Kerala's Wayanad. Join NDTV's initiative. Donate for Kerala.
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get access to the best journalism and storytelling on your smartphone or tablet. The NDTV app. News that matters to you.
Hi, I'm Shreya Saran. Kerala's Wayanad area is hit by devastating landslides, resulting in loss of lives and livelihood. Kerala needs your help right now. Let's join NDTV initiative. Come, donate, let's rebuild Wayanad.
Landslide devastation in Kerala's Wayanad. Join NDTV's initiative. Donate for Kerala.
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Top guns, including actor Mohanlal, have quit as part of the Association of Malayalam Movie Artists. This is the fallout of the various Me Too allegations that have been raised by the HEMA committee report. Also, the first meeting of the National Task Force that is looking at safety protocols for doctors has taken place today. We'll get you all that and more in this bulletin. But first, the headlines. Mollywood Me Too fallout. AMMA has been disbanded. This is the Association of Malayalam Movie Artists. Actor Mohanlal has also quit as the president of this association. In fact, all members have resigned. Union Home Secretary to chair a high-level meeting on doctor safety tomorrow. State DGPs will also be participating in this meeting. A decision taken at the first National Task Force meet over doctor safety that was held today. Rape horror continues. Police protesters showdown in Kolkata. Cops, in fact, have tried to stop the Nabanna march. Protesters clashed with cops, pelted stones. Police have used water cannons and also tear gas. Jodhpur hospital horror plays out. Minor gang raped at the hospital on the 25th of August. Rajasthan police suspect contractual staff. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has dialed Russian President Vladimir Putin. In fact, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has discussed Ukraine war with President Putin. This is days after he met Zelensky. The Prime Minister has called for peace. Supreme Court grants conditional bail for BRS leader K. Kavitha after Manish Sisodia. There's relief for K. Kavitha in excise policy case. Top court educates Delhi High Court on bail denial. Cannot deny bail because someone is educated. That's what the top court has said today. In a fallout of all those allegations that have been raised in the AMMA committee report that's looking at Me Too allegations and also the state of the Malayalam film industry, all office bearers of the Malayalam Cinema Artists Body, Association of Malayalam Movie Artists, including Mohanlal, have resigned after a report. The AMMA committee report exposed systemic sexual abuse in the industry. One of the superstars of the Malayalam movie industry, Mohanlal, has resigned as the president of the Association of Malayalam Movie Artists. He was the president, he was the chief of this association that is known to have a lot of influence on the working of the industry. This is amidst allegations of sexual misconduct that have gripped the Malayalam film industry since the report, a contracted report, came out. The association has been disbanded now. All members have quit and Mohanlal has also resigned as the president. This is the Association of Malayalam Movie Artists. The Kerala Police, meanwhile, has filed its first case in this connection. Remember, there's a panel that has been set up by the state government that's already looking into this matter. There is a panel of IPS officers that's looking into this matter. The police, meanwhile, have registered a non-bailable case against Ranjit based on the complaint of a woman actor who accused him of sexual misconduct. Remember, this is Mohanlal resigning as the chief of the Association of Malayalam Movie Artists. Mohanlal tendered his resignation on Tuesday from his position. According to the report, the actor-led body has also been dissolved. Remember, the AMMA committee report raised several concerns on the working of the Malayalam film industry. It pointed to some very specific instances how newcomers and also existing artists have to compromise and quote-unquote make adjustments to get offers. So I have my colleague Uma Sudhir joining me with more details on this. Uma, this is massive, you know, the fallout of this case, Mohanlal resigning as the chief of the Association of Malayalam Movie Artists. And also there has been this specific mention of a mafia running Malayalam film industry. Tell us, what do we know on this?
Vasudha, Mohanlal has in fact not given a personal letter of resignation. What has happened is that the statement that's been put out by the Association of Malayalam Movie Artists is signed by AMMA and it says Executive Committee, which means the President, Mr. Mohanlal, as well as the Vice Presidents and others, all of them are together resigning, which is a 17-member body. It was the present committee with the President, the Vice Presidents and the General Secretary was only elected at the end of June, in fact, when a re-election took place. Siddiq, who resigned on Sunday, was in fact earlier the treasurer and he had wanted to give up his activities. In fact, he had suffered a bereavement just recently. He had lost his son and subsequently he had not wanted to continue. But actor Mammootty had prevailed and appealed to him to continue and therefore he had taken over as secretary. The other person was in fact holding the secretary rank for several years in the AMMA. He has also been accused by one of the women as part of those people who had harassed her. She had named, she had taken several names, including that of that person was the earlier secretary as well. And of course, actor Jayasuriya, whose name was again mentioned by, Minu Munir when she spoke to NDTV as well. All those names coming up, and this at a time when in fact Mr. Tilakan, who is a veteran actor in the Malayalam film industry, his son had raised questions about why Mohanlal is keeping quiet on the goings on in the industry and also about the AMMA Commission report itself. And it is under these circumstances that Mohanlal and his entire committee, which was elected in the month of June, have all resigned. I must point out that there are 17 members in this and there are 4 women members as well. And what we do understand is that one of the women members, in fact, talking to the media along with Siddiq just a couple of days ago, she had also dismissed in a sense the casting couch phenomenon in the Malayalam film industry, and she had also said that she herself had never faced any harassment, but other women in the Women in Cinema collective have pointed out that someone's isolated experience or her words need not be taken as the gospel truth, and that each one's truth is their own and they need to tell their story, and that needs to be investigated. The other question that you asked about the so-called mafia in this industry, what I must point out is that it is not just women. There was, I mentioned veteran actor Tilagan, who in fact passed away in 2018. He was the one who first used the word mafia for those people who he alleged were controlling the Malayalam film industry and making it unprofessional. And for having spoken up, he said he was harassed, he was singled out, and he was not given work for nearly 10 to 15 years. He was not able to get the kind of work that he would have otherwise managed to get. And that word has been in fact picked up and mentioned by the AMMA Commission report as well, where there is mention of a famous actor who was in this manner, singled out because he dared to speak up. So that was a male as well. So not just women, there is a male as well who has spoken about something like this. And this comes, of course, at a time when, like you said, the special investigation team that has been constituted by the Chief Minister will be looking into the allegations that are being made by the women. But whether Kollam MLA, Mr. Mukesh, who is part of the left front government here, whether he, who is also facing an allegation from a woman actor, whether he will resign as being demanded by the local BJP, that is not clear. Actor, politician Suresh Gopi, who is also in the union cabinet, in the union ministry, he has refused to react and in fact got upset when he was confronted by some media people who asked him what his reaction was on this. And the BJP in Kerala has distanced himself from what Mr. Suresh Gopi has said, saying that he should not be asked questions about AMMA unless he is coming out of the AMMA office itself. When he's coming out of Parliament, you must ask me about Parliament, and when I'm coming out of the AMMA office, you must ask me about AMMA, is what he said. Though I must point out that he was among those actors, more than 500 of them, who had voted in the AMMA election that took place at the end of June.
Right. Also, tell us what kind of significance does this hold for the Women in Cinema collective? I remember you interviewing Asha Joseph a few days ago, because this is a significant victory for the women who fought for their voices to be heard, especially after the Dilip case that happened in 2017. So, can you also take us through the journey of this women, WCC, and the kind of struggles that women have waged against this body and the kind of silence that it had over all these allegations?
So the Women in Cinema collective was a group of women who came together after a very infamous incident that happened with an actress in Kochi, where she was molested and taken around in a car for about 2 hours. Subsequently, investigation had revealed that actor Dilip may have had a hand in it, and he in fact spent 3 months in jail. Women in Cinema collective at that time had approached the Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan, and that is when the AMMA Commission was in fact constituted with not just Justice AMMA, but also National Award winning actress Sharda, as well as Valasalu Kumari, a former IAS officer, and all had interviewed, taken the testimony of multiple male as well as female, and they had also spoken to technician and others, and that's when this very voluminous report came out about the workings of the industry. Even though it was ready by 2019, for 4.5 years the report did not become public, and that's what V.D. Satishan, leader of the opposition, has been saying, that who was the government trying to protect by not making this report public. The left front government, of course, is now saying that we stand very much with the women, and that's the reason why we were the only ones in the country to in fact have such a commission constituted and come out with a report which is explaining the conditions in which the Malayalam film industry is functioning. So after August 19th, when AMMA Commission report became public, even though it was a redacted version, it had enough explosive material to once again start this debate and Certainly, the AMMA, the executive committee now resigning en masse is, I would think, a big, should I say, a victory in a sense for the Women in Cinema Collective, who have been talking about the fact that many of these bodies, and I'm not talking just about the artist bodies, but also the technicians bodies, the producers, directors, that all of it is controlled by men, and that they decide virtually who gets work and who gets to work and who doesn't get any work in the industry, depending on this term that has become very popular, the adjustment that the actors, actresses are willing to do with the whoever the male staff who may be the controlling authority in that particular project. Back to you.
Thank you, Masudi, for joining us with those very important details. A very important day for the Malayalam film industry. Top guns at the Association of Malayalam Movie Association have resigned today, and this includes Mohanlal, who was the president. Remember, all of this is a fallout of the findings of the HEMA committee report, which clearly showed that women find it difficult to get basic jobs in the Malayalam film industry without giving in to sexual favors. We also spoke to CPI's Annie Raja and CPM's Brinda Karat. Let's listen in to what they said.
First of all, we have seen that now the SIT has been constituted, and in fact more and more actors, are coming forward and making these allegations. They see that after the formation of the SIT, they see hope. But ma'am, right now what we are also seeing here that the cases are getting filed, but if we talk about recently, Minu Munir in fact has filed a complaint against Mukesh, who also happens to be a sitting MLA of the ruling party. So what is your reaction on that?
See, first of all, we must understand that this SIT has been constituted based on to inquire about the incidents which have reference in the HEMA committee report, Justice HEMA committee report. That committee was constituted by the Kerala LDF government, which was based on a memorandum given by actresses in the backdrop of that sexual assault of an actress, leading actress in Kerala. So the committee has given its report, and now recently, a couple of days back, government has made it public, and then even the people or even the actresses, they have deposed before the Justice HEMA committee. They themselves have come out, some of them. You were asking about that MLA. He is part of LDF, and I am sure that the LDF committee, the left front committee, there is a coordination committee, and that committee will look into it, and it will be proper, and it for that MLA, he himself step away from his position, put his papers.
We are seeing that after HEMA committee report became public, more and more survivors are coming out, they're filing complaints. Now actor Minu Munir has in fact filed complaint against the sitting MLA, Mukesh. So we also want to know your reaction on that, since he also happens to be an MLA from your party.
The HEMA Commission report, a very, very valuable report, which has so clearly shone the light on the goings on, this, first of all, the rampant sexual harassment in the industry in Kerala, and along with rampant sexual harassment, the working conditions of women, the payments which are not being given to women, and not just actors, but women at all levels of the industry. So I think it's a very, very valuable report, and I think the formation of the SIT by the government is also a very, very positive step, and it provides a platform for women to come. And also I must congratulate these brave women for coming out in public and speaking the truth. And the WCC has also played an extremely important role in enabling this environment where women today can come and speak out. So I think the efforts of the government and the WCC and the individual courage shown by these women, the actors and others in the industry, will certainly help to address all the issues which the HEMA Commission has raised. About MLA Mukesh, what Minu has said And the statement that he is alleged to have made, I mean, what he said is so sickening. It is absolutely a prime example of sexual verbal abuse.
So, chaotic scenes were witnessed in Calcutta today, but meanwhile, even as there is a lot of emphasis on doctor safety, top heads in the government have started brainstorming over ways to make it safer for doctors and medical professionals, healthcare professionals across the country. In fact, the first meeting of the National Task Force that was instructed by the Supreme Court was held today under the chairmanship of the Cabinet Secretary. All members, including Home Secretary, Health Secretary, were present at this meeting. In fact, there was elaborate and detailed discussion on various issues by the NTF members. The members also put forth their suggestions. Members have informed that they have been approached directly by various stakeholders. They have individually received around 300 to 400 suggestions. In fact, the Health Ministry has also started a portal in which it has welcomed suggestions on this particular topic from common people. Remember that a national protocol on safety is something that the NTF has been tasked with. There is a high-level security meeting that will also happen tomorrow. In fact, the Home Secretary will be chairing this very important meeting, and the Health Secretary will also be co-chairing it, and state DGPs will be participating in this very important meeting. Remember that health and law and order both are state subjects, so the cooperation of the states is something that is considered pivotal by the centre to ensure that there are national guidelines that are put in place for the safety of doctors. The Union Health Secretary will chair this meeting, and this is all being held in the backdrop of protests that have happened across the country over the murder of a Kolkata doctor who was raped and brutally murdered on the 9th of August. The Supreme Court constituted a task force. The National Task Force, in fact, met today, and it also discussed feedback from across the country and ways to put in a national protocol in place. My colleague Aishwarya has more details on this.
Well, the first meeting of the National Task Force was set up in accordance with the Honorable Supreme Court, and it concluded today under the chairmanship of the Cabinet Secretariat. We have been told that all the members were present, including the Home Secretary and the Health Secretary as well. And elaborate discussions were held between these members of the National Task Force. It has been stated by the members that almost 300 to 400 suggestions were received individually by them, and they had been approached by different stakeholders as well. A national portal has been created by the Health Ministry, and the link is now available on the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare's website, to which they can also sort the suggestions from different stakeholders involved as well. We've been also told that the Health Ministry will further consider these suggestions made by the NTF members as well. Apart from it, the Secretary Health along with the NTF members will now have a wider discussions with various major stakeholders as well. We've been also told that tomorrow there would be another meeting that has been called by the National Task Force under the chairmanship of the Cabinet Secretariat, and this will be via video conferencing to discuss the short-term measures regarding the security of medical professions, with all the state DGPs and Chief Secretaries also being called. It will be co-chaired by the Union Home Secretary and the Union Health Secretary. Remember, it is the health is an important subject of state as well, and for the security perspective, the DGPs had also been called. The centre clearly wants that both should be in one line on one page, and therefore the reason perhaps now tomorrow an important meeting has also been called, but several initiatives being taken. A wider concentration is something that is the approach of the National Task Force.
Moving on, chaotic scenes were witnessed in Kolkata today, even as the police intercepted a protest march to the State Secretariat Nabanna over the rape and murder of a 31-year-old junior doctor that occurred on the 9th of August in the city's RG Kar Medical College and Hospital, an incident that has sent shockwaves across the country and has also led to protests by doctors and women across the country. In fact, the riot police, as you can see in the visuals, used tear gas shells and water cannons to stop protesters from proceeding towards the State Secretariat. Some of the protesters were also seen
throwing stones towards the policemen. No permission was given for the protest march, and the ruling Trinamool Congress yesterday had alleged that this is a conspiracy to create unrest in the state, and it had blamed the BJP for it, while the ruling TMC has alleged that this is a BJP-backed protest. The BJP has held the TMC responsible for it. In fact, BJP Samit Malviya has also put out a video of what really happened on the night of this crime, and he has claimed that the site of the crime was also compromised by the admin there in the hospital. The organizers have said that the protest march today was planned by student organizations. It was not political, and many have also distanced themselves from the various mainstream political parties. Kolkata police virtually turned Nabanna into a fortress, and as many as 6,000 police personnel were deployed to stop protesters from advancing the secretariat from any route. Drones were also kept to keep a check on the protesters. In fact, barricades have been welded into the ground now and greased to prevent the protesters from scaling them. This morning, a group of protesters also gathered at College Square in Kolkata and marched towards the state secretariat. They raised several slogans demanding Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee's resignation over the horrific rape and murder case that is being investigated by the CBI now. Meanwhile, crimes against women continue. Bodies of two Dalit girls aged 15 and 18 years were found hanging from a tree in Uttar Pradesh's Farrukhabad. According to Farrukhabad's SP, Alok Priyadarshi, the bodies of the two girls were found in a mango orchard in a village near Kayamganj. Cops have added that both girls went missing from the village temple where they had gone to see Shri Krishna Janmashtami tableau around 9 p.m. on Monday night and had not returned home after that. Akhilesh Yadav, the Supremo of Samajwadi Party, also the opposition leader there, he's an MP now from Kannauj. He has reacted very strongly to this crime, and he has said, and I quote, "It's a very sensitive incident. Bodies of two girls who had gone out to see the Janmashtami festival in Farrukhabad were found hanging from a tree. The BJP government should immediately conduct an impartial inquiry into this matter and submit its report on this suspicious case of murder. Such incidents create a horrific atmosphere in society which causes deep mental trauma to women. The inevitable time has come to raise women's safety as a serious issue, and we must rise above politics." That's what he has said today.
दोनों क्या एक ही फंदे पे लटकी?
एक ही दुपट्टा में लटकी। तो
आप क्या लगता है आपको?
हमें ये लग रहा है किसी ने मार के लटकाए।
कोई रंजिश वगैरह किसी से?
हमारी किसी से ना रंजिश।
पुलिस ने अभी तक क्या कार्रवाई की?
अब पुलिस की को पता हमें कोई मालूम नहीं क्या कर रही थी।
घटना की सूचना पर पुलिस ने मौके पर जाके छानबीन की तो पाया कि वहाँ पे दो लड़कियाँ, एक की उम्र 18 और दूसरी की 15 बताई जा रही है, और वो दोनों बहुत क्लोज फ्रेंड्स हैं, आपस में पड़ोसी भी हैं। जो भी घटना है इसके बारे में पोस्टमार्टम के बाद पूरी तरह से इस पूरे घटनाक्रम का पता चल पाएगा। मौके से एक फ़ोन भी मिला है जो पेड़ के पास रखा हुआ था, और एक सिम एक लड़की के कपड़ों से बरामद हुआ है, जिस सिम की डिटेल निकाल कर उसमें आगे जानकारी प्राप्त की जा रही है।
Moving on, in yet another horrific incident, a 15-year-old girl was allegedly gang raped by two men within the premises of the government-run Mahatma Gandhi Hospital in Jodhpur in Rajasthan. This is what police officials said on Tuesday. The incident happened on Sunday night, but the police were informed on Monday evening. According to the police, a teenager had left her home on Sunday evening after being reprimanded by her mother. Two men approached the girl. After finding her alone in the hospital premises, they engaged in a conversation and led her to a secluded area behind the hospital's biomedical waste, and that is where this crime was committed. Joining me now is Harsha, my colleague from Jaipur. Harsha, this is a horrible incident of crime that has happened, and this is just in line with so many other incidents that we have been reporting from across the country. Tell us what exactly happened here and who was the victim.
Well, you know, this minor victim had apparently left her home because she had some kind of an altercation with her parents. So the parents reported her missing. And of course, it looks like, you know, concerted efforts were not made to find her. She was found wandering around behind the hospital, you know, in the Mahatma Gandhi Hospital. It's quite a big premises. There's a waste management area, the bio-waste management area, where there is some kind of a room. And perhaps two people led her there, and that's where the incident happened. the FSL team has gone and taken a look at that area. They've also collected valuable evidence from there. So hopefully they will be able to identify and crack the case soon. We've been told that 2 people have been detained for questioning, though the police is not showing it as an arrest yet. But the point is, again, in focus, in the spotlight is the fact that, under the scanner is how the security in hospitals is working. Now, despite what happened in Kolkata, you can see that, inside the hospital building and in the wards, perhaps the police and the guards there are a little strict about who comes in. But otherwise, in, the hospital area, it's quite spread out. I mean, people are just streaming in and out. There are relatives, all sitting around there, sometimes hanging around all night. The point is that, this really will allow antisocial elements to also get into that entire situation. So, security needs to be tightened at hospitals where, which has been vulnerable to these kind of crimes. And Jodhpur, unfortunately, has a very bad track record. There's been a spate of crimes reported one after the other against women. So clearly the Jodhpur police and administration probably need to take some very strict measures to ensure that, women are safe in the city, even, in hours after dark.
Right. Also, Harsha, some days back you had reported on this horrific Ajmer gang rape case and, eventually the accused getting punishment after 32 long years. In fact, the trial took over 3 decades, to find closure. Tell us, how is the BJP government in Rajasthan looking at something like this? It is a new BJP government there. The CM is also not somebody who's seen as completely experienced when it comes to matters of governance. How is the opposition and the ruling party looking at crimes like this?
Well, it's ironical because really that's been a big election issue. The safety of women was a big election issue in the run-up to the assembly elections in Rajasthan. And the National Crime Records Bureau had pointed out about how, Rajasthan was among the top 5 states as far as crimes against women is concerned. Now, the Chief Minister has said that there will be a Mahila desk in every police station, Mahila helplines. They're also using technology like the Abhay Command Centers to track, these kind of crimes. But clearly, it's not stopping. In fact, like I said, Jodhpur has had a spate of crimes, almost 5 such cases in the past 1 month alone. So clearly the beat system, from downwards and up to, to the level of the SP office and the commissionerate, they need to kind of, take corrective measures. They've not really been able to, stem the crimes that are happening. And in fact, Rajasthan's record continues to be bad. Sad because this was an election issue and the BJP government had promised that they would deliver on this.
Thank you, Harsha Singh, for reporting on this horrific crime, and thank you for joining us. That was Harsha Singh reporting for NDTV on this horrific incident of gang rape that took place in Jodhpur just 2 days ago. Time for a short break. More news and updates on the other side.
Get the magic of the best working for you now.
Link your payment cards once, collect rewards forever.
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get access to the best journalism and storytelling on your smartphone or tablet. The NDTV app. News that matters to you.
Hi, I'm Shreya Saran. Kerala's Wayanad area is hit by devastating landslides, resulting in loss of lives and livelihood. Kerala needs your help right now. Let's join NDTV initiative. Come, donate. Let's rebuild Wayanad.
Landslide devastation in Kerala's Wayanad. Join NDTV's initiative. Donate for Kerala.
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news.
Welcome back. Yesterday, a video of popular actor Darshan Kannadiga actor getting VIP treatment in jail went viral. Karnataka leader of opposition R. Ashok, who's also a BJP MLA, has hit out at the Deputy Chief Minister of Karnataka, DK Shivakumar, and he has alleged that he is responsible for the VIP treatment that Darshan is allegedly being given. Remember, the visuals, the photo that was released showed Darshan having coffee. In fact, he was sitting with a coffee mug, and he was also seen smoking with another history sheeter. Today, the Deputy Chief Minister refuted the charges in an exclusive interview that was given to NDTV's Pratibha Raman. Let's first listen into what R. Ashok said before we play out what DK Shivakumar said today.
ಸ್ವತಃ ಉಪಮುಖ್ಯಮಂತ್ರಿಗಳು ಹೇಳಿದಾರಲ್ಲ, ಅವ್ರು ನಾನು ಭೇಟಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ನನ್ನ ಸಹಾಯಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದಿದ್ದರು ಅನ್ನೋ ಹೇಳಿಕೆಯನ್ನು ನಾನು ನೋಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಇವತ್ತು ಆ ಜೈಲುಗಳು ಮೊನ್ನೆ ತಾನೇ ಒಂದು 4-5 ದಿನದಿಂದ ಇಡೀ ಜೈಲಿಗೆ ರೈಡ್ ಆಯಿತು. ಪೊಲೀಸರು ರೈಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. ರೈಡ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿರೋ ಏನೇನಿದೆಯೋ ಮೊಬೈಲ್ಗಳು ಎಲ್ಲ ಸೀಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. ಅಕ್ರಮ ಏನು ನಡೀತಾ ಇತ್ತೋ ಅದೆಲ್ಲವನ್ನು ತಡೆಗಟ್ಟುವಂಥ ಕೆಲಸವನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. ಅದಾಗಿದ್ದು 4 ದಿನಕ್ಕೆ ಈ ಫೋಟೋ ತೆಗಿಯೋಕ್ಕೆ ಮೊಬೈಲ್ ಎಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಬಂತು?
So, Mr. Ashok, the leader of opposition, has said that Mr. DK Shivakumar went to the jail, got in touch with Mr. Darshan, and that's why the VIP treatment.
I think there is some problem with Mr. Ashok. He was a home minister. I think better he is not fit to be in the constitution post. He seems to be a big liar and a bluffer. When did I go to the jail? I was a jail minister 30 years back. I went to Tihar jail. I have not even seen Parappa graduate. When I was a jail minister earlier, I had gone, I only built a part of building the jail. I think some problem has happened to him. Let him check himself in some medical treatment, have a medical treatment.
Thank you so much, sir. So that was Mr. DK Shivakumar talking about Mr. Ashok's allegations against Mr. DK Shivakumar as far as the Darshan VIP treatment inside Bengaluru prison is concerned. With camera person Govind, Pratibha Raman in Bengaluru for NDTV.
So DK Shivakumar has made some very important points today. Let's listen into again what he said.
So, Mr. Ashok, the leader of opposition, has said that Mr. DK Shivakumar went to the jail, got in touch with Mr. Darshan, and that's why the VIP treatment.
I think there is some problem with Mr. Ashok. He was a home minister. I think better he is not fit to be in the constitution post. He seems to be a big liar and a bluffer. When did I go to the jail? I was a jail minister 30 years back. I went to Tihar jail. I have not even seen Parappa graduate. When I was a jail minister earlier, I had gone, I only built a part of building the jail. I think some problem has happened to him. Let him check himself in some medical treatment, have a medical treatment.
Thank you so much, sir. So that was Mr. DK Shivakumar talking about Mr. Ashok's allegations against Mr. DK Shivakumar as far as the Darshan VIP treatment inside Bengaluru prison is concerned. With camera person Govind, Pratibha Raman in Bengaluru for NDTV.
So that was Karnataka's Deputy Chief Minister D.K. Shivakumar dismissing the claims of R. Ashok, the leader of opposition in the Karnataka Assembly, that he is responsible for the VIP treatment that is being given to Darshan Togodipa, as we all saw in the picture that came out yesterday. Meanwhile, moving on, a fresh controversy has now erupted in Karnataka over a 5-acre land that was allotted to a trust run by Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge's family and chaired by his son Rahul Kharge, with the BJP calling it a misuse of power. In fact, the BJP has alleged that 5 acres of industrial land under SE quota has been given to this trust that is run by Karnataka Minister Priyank Kharge's family. An activist has also filed complaint against Karnataka Minister with Governor Thawarchand Gehlot. However, the Karnataka government, including Priyank Kharge, have rejected these charges, saying that no industrial plot has been allocated to this family trust. He also clarified, Priyank Kharge also clarified, that the trust will use the land for educational purposes only. Let's listen in to what he said.
ಕಾಂಗ್ರೆಸ್ ಪಕ್ಷದ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರೀಯ ಅಧ್ಯಕ್ಷರಾದಂಥ ಸನ್ಮಾನ್ಯ ಶ್ರೀ ಮಲ್ಲಿಕಾರ್ಜುನ್ ಖರ್ಗೆ ಅವರ ಪುತ್ರರಾದಂಥ ರಾಹುಲ್ ಎಂ ಖರ್ಗೆ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಕಾನೂನು ಬಾಹಿರವಾಗಿ ಮತ್ತು ಎಲ್ಲ ನಿಯಮಾವಳಿಗಳನ್ನು ಉಲ್ಲಂಘನೆ ಮಾಡಿ ಅರ್ಹ ಕೈಗಾರಿಕೋದ್ಯಮಿಗಳು ಇದ್ದರೂ ಕೂಡ ಅವರ ಪುತ್ರರಿಗೆ ಸುಮಾರು 5 ಎಕರೆಗೂ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಬೆಲೆ ಬಾಳುವಂಥ ಏರೋಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಡಿಫೆನ್ಸ್ ಕಾಲೋನಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇವರಿಗೆ ಲ್ಯಾಂಡನ್ನು ಮಲಾಟ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇದು ಸಂಪೂರ್ಣವಾಗಿ ಅವ್ಯವಹಾರ ಆಗಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಇಡೀ ಪ್ರಕರಣದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಉನ್ನತ ಮಟ್ಟದ ತನಿಖೆಗೊಳಿಸಬೇಕು ಅಂತೇಳಿ ನಾನು ಈ ಹಿಂದೆ ಮುಖ್ಯಮಂತ್ರಿಗಳಾದಂಥ ಸಿದ್ದರಾಮಯ್ಯನವ್ರಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ದೂರನ್ನು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೆ. ಮಾನ್ಯ ಮುಖ್ಯಮಂತ್ರಿಗಳು ಯಾವುದೇ ಕಾನೂನು ಕ್ರಮ ಕೈಗೊಂಡಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಇದರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಾನು ಕಾಂಗ್ರೆಸ್ ಪಕ್ಷದ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರೀಯ ನಾಯಕರಾದಂಥ ರಾಹುಲ್ ಗಾಂಧಿ ಅವ್ರಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಒಂದು ಸುವೀರವಾಗಿ ಒಂದು ಪತ್ರವನ್ನು ಬರೆದು ತನಿಖೆಗೆ ಒತ್ತಾಯಿಸಿದ್ದೆ. ಆದರೆ ರಾಹುಲ್ ಗಾಂಧಿ ಅವರು ಕೂಡ ಯಾವುದೇ ಕಾನೂನು ಕ್ರಮ ಕೈಗೊಳ್ಳಕ್ಕೆ ವಿಫಲರಾಗಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ನಾನು ಅನಿವಾರ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಗೌರವಾನ್ವಿತ ರಾಜ್ಯಪಾಲರನ್ನು ಭೇಟಿ ಮಾಡಿ ತನಿಖೆಗಾಗಿ ಈಗ ಒತ್ತಾಯ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ.
I would like to ask BJP and Mr. Leher Singh, what is wrong in procuring a CA site? Firstly, as Mr. Leher Singh claims, it is not an industrial plot that was allotted. It is not meant for industrial purposes. We had requested a CA site as per the norms for educational purposes, for developing skill development centers in the region of emerging technologies in the area of aerospace. Neither we have asked for deferred payment, neither we have asked for a subsidy. BJP is unable to point out what the problem is. They are just shooting in the dark.
The land in question is about the Aero Defence Park, which is near Bengaluru's Devanahalli. And 5 acres of it, meant for civic amenities, has been allotted to this trust owned by the Kharge family, mainly Mr. Rahul Kharge there. And this has definitely caused a lot of concern there, because there have been allegations of nepotism as well as misuse of power and more, which has prompted an activist to go file a complaint, not just with the Chief Minister as well as Mr. Rahul Gandhi, but has now gone on to knock the doors of the Raj Bhavan and file a complaint with the governor there. Meantime, the BJP has also joined him in levelling allegations against the Congress for having facilitated this kind of a land allotment there with the help of KIADB, which is Karnataka Industrial Area Development Board. And the Industries Minister as well as the Congress government have been maintaining the fact that this is justified, and that the person owning this trust is a person who is learned and is also an IIT graduate, and this is only done out of merit. Now, while this is becoming a flashpoint of sorts, we are also looking at what kind of action would be taken by the governor, because the ball is now at the governor's court with respect to that complaint. But in the meantime, yes, all eyes are on how this political blame game would be taken further as far as this land allotment is concerned.
Moving on to some election stories, today was the last day of filing nominations for the first phase of J&K polls. Leaders across parties, including several independent candidates, made a beeline for the DC's office to file their papers. In fact, banned outfit in the Valley Jamaat-e-Islami is fielding at least 3 of its former members as independent candidates from various constituencies of South Kashmir. Meanwhile, Bharatiya Janata Party has also released a third list of 29 candidates for the second and third phase of J&K polls. So far, the BJP has announced names of 45 candidates across 3 lists. Remember, J&K votes in 3 phases starting from the 18th of September. The last phase will be on the 1st of October. The results will be declared on the 4th of October.
On the last day of filing of nomination papers for the first phase of assembly election in Jammu and Kashmir, large number of people are coming forward filing their nomination papers. Some are in jail, some are those who are linked with the Jamaat Islami band group, and some who were accused of UAPA have also filed their nomination papers. Among them is also PDP candidate Wahid Parra, and now joining me is Sofi Muhammad Akbar, a former government employee who was sacked because he was arrested under UAPA and remained in jail for nearly 4 years. 4 साल रहे अकबर साहब?
3 साल और चौथे साल के आगाज में मैं बेल आउट हुआ।
3 साल। तो अब एक तरफ अगर आप UAPA में एंटी टेरर लॉ के तहत गिरफ्तार थे, जेल थे 3 साल से ज्यादा अरसे तक, और फिर आप आज ने फॉर्म भर दिया इलेक्शन लड़ने के लिए।
This is the ultimate answer to your good self that I have been arrested under UAPA and I am filing the nomination.
Okay.
This is the answer to your good self, to the people, to the country, that this is my country. I have not done anything against the country. That is why I have filed the nomination. This is a clear stand from my side. Why I have.
तो आप क्या कहते हैं, इस फॉर्म भरने से क्या मैसेज है?
Yes. फॉर्म भरने से मेरा यही मैसेज है. This is my message. I will go among the people and I will seek the justice for me and to the most of the sufferers who are sitting in jail, who are waiting for their justice.
Okay, joining me now is Nazir, my colleague who reports from Srinagar for NDTV. Nazir, very important developments in Kashmir. First of all, Omar Abdullah contesting from the family constituency of Ganderbal, and of course the 3 lists of BJP, which makes the number of announced candidates 45. Tell us, and also the most important thing, Jamaat-e-Islami also fielding many independent candidates. Tell us about all 3 of them and what is the latest that's going on in the valley?
Well, for whole day in South Kashmir, Anantnag, Kulgam, Pulwama districts, there was beeline of these candidates filing their nomination papers because all the parties almost clear their lists of candidates yesterday only, and today was the last day of filing of nomination papers. And also in Doda and Kishtwar region, which will also go to polls alongside Anantnag on 18th of next month, and today was the last day of filing of nomination papers. So it was a surprise for many. Jamaat-Islami, which used to boycott elections, was part of a Hurriyat conference, fountainhead of separatism in the valley. The candidates who are believed to be linked with the Jamaat were filing nominations. At least 4 candidates in Pulwama, Shopia and Kulgam, they filed their nomination papers for this election. The candidates, one of them, we just played his interview. Sofi Muhammad Akbar, he was a government employee in Srinagar Municipal Corporation. 3-4 years back, he was arrested on charges of anti-terror charges under UAPA. He was out, released on bail, and he also filed his nomination paper. There's a person called Sarjan Barkati, who was the face of civilian unrest or the anti-India protests in Kashmir in 2016. He remained in jail, then was released, then arrested again. His daughter came and filed the nomination papers on behalf of her father. But in a sense, after parliament elections, when Engineer Rashid, he filed nomination papers from Tihar jail and won parliament elections and defeated Omar Abdullah, the UAPA in itself has become a qualification for many people to file nomination papers that they are hoping that they can repeat what Engineer Rashid could do in the Baramulla parliamentary constituency. Besides this, National Conference today announced, released another list, which is